What's up everyone? How are you all? Today we are back with another blazing Naruto story. What if Anbu Naruto parents return with his sister? If you enjoy this what if, then play like, share and do comment. And also check out our Patreon page, link given in the description. So let's start the story.
From the very beginning, Team 7 had never truly been a team. It was a routine carved into something bitter. Every morning, Naruto Uzumaki would arrive before the sun had properly settled over Konohagakure. He would sit restless, watching shadows stretch across the training ground, waiting for a teacher who never came on time, waiting for teammates who never truly saw him. And when Kakashi Haddock finally appeared, it was always the same, lazy tone, distant eye, meaningless excuse. The kind that didn't even try to sound real anymore. Naruto had stopped reacting, because reacting meant caring, and caring hurt. Missions were worse, D-rank chores disguised as teamwork, but teamwork didn't exist here. Sasuke Uchiha moved with quiet efficiency, his actions sharp and deliberate, while Sakura Haruno lingered near him, watching, admiring, existing in his orbit. Naruto worked. He carried, cleaned, climbed, chased, fixed, sweat soaked his back while the others observed, and Kakashi, he observed Sasuke, corrected Sasuke, praised Sasuke. Naruto learned something during those missions, not ninjutsu, not tactics, but his place. At the edge, training followed the same pattern, structured imbalance. Naruto noticed the details others would ignore, the way Kakashi's voice shifted, slightly sharper, more attentive when speaking to Sasuke, the way instructions were repeated for him but never for Naruto, the way corrections were offered but never to him, and then there were the disappearances. After official sessions ended, Kakashi would casually dismiss them. Sakura would leave, Naruto would leave, Sasuke would stay. At first, Naruto told himself it didn't matter, then curiosity became suspicion. Suspicion became proof. One night, hidden beneath dense branches, Naruto watched as Kakashi moved with precision, demonstrating techniques meant for killing, not academy-level drills. Watched Sasuke replicate them, fail, improve, grow, and Naruto clenched his fists until his nails drew blood. He didn't interrupt, didn't reveal himself, didn't ask for help, because somewhere deep inside, he already knew the answer. The mission to the land of waves should have changed everything. It did, but not in the way Naruto had hoped. He met her in silence, Haku, not as an enemy. Not as a shinobi, but as a person. Their conversations were quiet, fragile things built in the space between loneliness and understanding. Haku didn't look at him like a burden, didn't see him as a failure. She listened. And when she spoke, her words carried a softness Naruto had never known, for the first time. He wasn't alone. Days passed like stolen moments, walks beneath swaying trees, training without pressure, silence that didn't suffocate. Naruto felt something dangerous growing in his chest, hope. He made a promise, an impossible one. He asked her to come back with him, to leave the shadows behind, to start over. Haku smiled, not with certainty, but with something close enough that Naruto believed it. That night he couldn't sleep. His thoughts were too loud, his heart too full. Morning came like a blade. The house was empty, the air wrong. Something had already gone terribly wrong. Naruto didn't think, didn't hesitate. He moved, fast, too fast, intercepting danger before it reached those who couldn't fight back. By the time he reached the bridge, he was already too late. The world slowed, sound vanished, and all that remained was the sight. Lightning, cold, piercing, final. Naruto's body refused to move, refused to breathe, because what lay before him wasn't a battlefield. It was the death of something fragile, something he hadn't even realized he was protecting. Zabuza Mamachi stood only long enough to defy death one last time, and then he fell just like her. Naruto didn't scream, didn't cry, didn't rage, because something inside him had gone quiet. Terrifyingly quiet. Orders were given, voices spoke, people moved, but Naruto heard none of it clearly. Only fragments, only echoes. He buried them himself, hands trembling, breath uneven. Every handful of earth felt heavier than the last. He carved their names slowly, carefully, as if precision could make up for failure, as if effort could undo reality. When it was done, he stayed long after everyone else had gone, long after the sun had begun to fall. That night on the rooftop, he didn't cry loudly, didn't break violently. He simply emptied until sleep dragged him into darkness, back in Konoha. Naruto disappeared, not physically, but emotionally. Training became obsession, pain became routine, exhaustion became comfort. He pushed his body until it failed, then pushed further. Because stopping meant thinking, and thinking meant remembering, until one day something changed. It wasn't a sound or a sight, but a pull, a strange, invisible thread tugging at his chest, without understanding why. Naruto ran through streets, past crowds, toward the gates, and there he felt it. A group of shinobi entered, foreign, powerful, but that wasn't what caught his attention. It was the feeling, a strange familiarity, like recognizing a face he had never seen. His eyes locked onto two of them, a blonde girl with sharp, feline features, and a towering man carrying blades like extensions of his own body. Something about them, resonated the next day. It happened again, different faces, different village, same feeling, a red-haired girl, a presence both gentle and heavy. Naruto's chest tightened, then again and again and again, mist, stone, waterfall, sand, different people, same pull, 9 individuals, 9 fragments of something he couldn't name. Naruto stopped questioning it because answers felt distant, unimportant that night. He slept, and for the first time in weeks. He dreamed not of memories, not of loss, but of something deeper, something older. Darkness stretched endlessly, heavy, alive, and within that darkness, eyes opened, not one, not two, but many, watching, waiting, and then a voice not spoken, not heard, but felt. So, you've finally begun to notice. Naruto's eyes snapped open, his breath came sharp, violent, but he wasn't alone, far beyond Konoha. In separate corners of the world, 9 others woke in the exact same moment. Among them, Gaara sat upright, sand trembling unnaturally around him, inside him. Something stirred, not with rage, not with hunger, but with recognition, in Iwagakure. Roshi and Han opened their eyes in unison, their chakra unstable, their minds not entirely their own, across villages, across borders, across sealed prisons of flesh. The beasts were waking, and for the first time. They were not alone. Naruto clutched his chest, heart pounding. Something was calling him, not gently, not kindly, but inevitably, and deep within him. Behind bars long sealed, something massive shifted. A single eye opened in the darkness, burning, ancient, and it smiled. Cliffhanger end. The night fractures as Naruto and 9 others awaken to a shared, terrifying presence, while deep within him, the Nine Tails finally opens its eyes with intent. The light didn't fade, it shattered. For Naruto Uzumaki, the world didn't simply go dark, it collapsed inward like something had reached into his existence and pulled him beneath it. There was no ground, no sky, no sound, only pressure, crushing, ancient, and then silence with the waterfall shinobi. Far from Konohagakure, beneath dim lantern light and drunken laughter that bled through thin walls. Fu sat completely still, her usual energy, loud, reckless, untamed, had vanished. Her legs were crossed, her breathing controlled, her eyes empty. Inside her, something stirred, not violently, not angrily, but knowingly. Fu had always been told the truth. From the age of 5, there were no lies, no illusions. She knew what she carried, knew the cost, knew the fear others hid behind smiles, and yet this was different. She wasn't suppressing it, she was listening. A faint hum echoed through her consciousness, not words, not thoughts, but something deeper, calling. Her fingers twitched, her jaw tightened. She forced her breathing to remain steady, because if she acknowledged it fully, she feared what would answer back. Outside, her teammates drank, laughed, wasted themselves in distractions, but Fu sat in the eye of a storm no one else could see, and somewhere, deep within, a winged shadow shifted with the mist shinobi. The air was damp, heavy, filled with the scent of steel and quiet tension. Yagura and Yudakata sat across from each other, blades resting between them. The rhythmic scrape of sharpening metal should have been calming. It was. Behind them stood Terumi, watching, always watching. She had gambled on something dangerous, a second chance, a rewritten fate, and now she was beginning to wonder if fate could ever truly be rewritten. Yagura's hands paused just for a second, barely noticeable, but Yudakata saw it because he felt it too. That pull, that presence. It wasn't hostile, but it wasn't kind either. It was familiar in a way that made his skin crawl. Yagura's expression remained blank, too blank, as if something behind his eyes was waking up piece by piece. Mei's fingers curled slightly. Instinct, danger. But neither boy spoke, because neither of them understood what they would even say. Only one thought echoed between them. Someone is here, and for the first time. It didn't feel like they were the only monsters in the room, with the medics. Water dripped slow, rhythmic, relentless. Amaru scrubbed her tools again and again and again. Her hands moved with mechanical precision, but her thoughts were unraveling. Radial nerve, brachial artery, cervical spine. She whispered under her breath, repeating, counting, listing, anything to drown it out, because every time she stopped, it came back, that feeling, that voice, that presence. Her teacher watched from across the room, concern etched deep into his face. This wasn't nerves, this wasn't fear of exams, this was something else. Something wrong. Amaru's hands suddenly froze, mid-motion. Her reflection stared back at her from the water, distorted, shaking, for a split second. She didn't recognize herself, and behind her reflection, something else blinked. She slammed her eyes shut, hard. No. Her voice cracked, not now. But it didn't stop because it wasn't coming from outside, it was inside, with the cloud shinobi. The tension was suffocating. Killer Bee paced like a caged beast. His usual rhythm, his confidence, his chaotic flow was gone. Shut up, just shut up already. He muttered under his breath again and again. Across from him, Yujido leaned against the wall, arms crossed tightly. Her composure was cracking inside her. The flames roared louder than ever before, not in anger, but in agitation. Something's wrong, she whispered. The door slammed open. A fourth Reikage entered, his presence like thunder. His eyes scanned them both, sharp, calculating. He didn't ask what was happening because he already knew something was. His hand hovered near the sealing tools at his side, instinct, preparedness, fear, because these two were no longer predictable, and unpredictability was dangerous, a world unaware. 10 vessels scattered across one village, bound by something none of them understood. Each one felt it, ignored it, fought it, but none of them realized. They weren't alone in that struggle, because deep within them, their prisoners were no longer silent, mindscape. The world here was not real, and yet it was more real than anything else, a sky without end. A moon that did not waver, an ocean of chakra that breathed like a living thing, and then the storm came. It didn't arrive gently, it tore through the stillness. Violent, unrelenting, lightning split the sky, and from that chaos they emerged, the first form twisted into existence. A grotesque mass, heavy and suffocating, its presence dragging the very space around it downward. A pale mask stared outward, empty, numbered, then. Sand screamed, a monstrous shape rose, unstable and furious, its body shifting like dunes caught in a hurricane. Madness bled from it, flames followed, cold, dark, hungry. A feline silhouette stepped forward, its eyes glowing like distant stars swallowed by night. Water churned, a colossal shell surfaced, ancient, wounded, watching, then. Fire erupted skyward. A towering ape, its fangs like blades, its breath scorching the very air. And finally, something wrong, a warped form, massive, unnatural, a creature that defied understanding. They stood together, separate, aware, but something was missing. The storm didn't stop, it grew louder, heavier, more violent, because something else was coming, something older, something deeper. The space itself began to crack, and from the deepest part of the storm, a presence pushed back, not emerging, not revealing, but watching, waiting, and then a voice low, ancient, unmistakable. So, you all feel it too. The gathered entities stilled for the first time. The storm hesitated because that voice did not belong to any of them, far away. In the darkness of a sealed cage, Kurama slowly rose. Chains creaked, not weakening, not breaking, but trembling, and its eyes burned brighter than the storm itself, cliffhanger end. As the tailed beasts gather in a shared mindscape for the first time, an unknown presence interrupts them, while Kurama awakens with terrifying awareness, hinting that something far older than the Biju has begun to stir. The storm did not calm, it deepened. Within the endless mindscape, the gathered entities stood in uneasy silence as the pressure intensified, like the world itself was bracing for something greater. And then more forms emerged, a grotesque mass slid into existence, heavy, viscous, its presence dragged across the surface of the chakra sea, leaving behind trails of something foul and suffocating. When it fully revealed itself, it took the shape of a monstrous slug, its body pulsating with a sickening rhythm. The 6 tails had arrived, then came a sharper vibration, high-pitched, piercing. A sleek, armored silhouette unfolded, wings twitching as if testing the very fabric of the space around it. Its form was smaller than the others, yet its presence buzzed with unnatural intensity. The 7 tails, the air cracked. A massive figure stepped forward next, broad, overwhelming, its chakra thick like iron. Tentacle-like appendages writhed behind it, moving with controlled menace. The 8 tails had entered, and then everything else faltered, because something far more ancient began to rise. The storm itself bent, the sky dimmed, even the gathered beasts fell silent. From the depths, a colossal fox emerged. Kurama did not need to announce himself. His presence alone demanded acknowledgement. 9 tails swayed behind him like living shadows. His eyes burned not with rage alone, but with something sharper, awareness. For centuries he had stood among them as the strongest, not by title, not by agreement, but by undeniable truth. Now, even that truth felt unstable. Kurama's gaze swept across the assembled beings, old allies, old rivals, fragments of a past that refused to stay buried. It has been too long. His voice didn't echo, it pressed. The others reacted differently, some with irritation, some with anticipation, some with something dangerously close to fear. A low rumble answered him, acknowledgement, but beneath it, on knees. Because all of them felt it now, that foreign presence, that intrusion, this was their domain, and yet something else had entered, uninvited. Kurama's eyes narrowed. Show yourself. Silence then. The storm split not outward, inward, and from that fracture, darkness deeper than any of them had ever known began to seep through. Not chakra, not energy, something else. And for the first time, the tailed beasts did not speak. They watched, because instinct, ancient and absolute, whispered a single truth. This was not something they could dominate, back in the physical world. Naruto's eyes snapped open, air tore into his lungs like fire. His body jerked forward violently, hands gripping his chest as if trying to hold something inside. Something had changed, not outside, inside. He could feel it, not just the nine tails, not just rage, but awareness, and it terrified him. Team 7, the fracture widens. Dawn hadn't fully broken when Naruto reached the training ground. He didn't sit, didn't wait, he stood still, silent. When Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno arrived, they immediately felt it. Something was wrong. Naruto wasn't restless, wasn't loud, wasn't Naruto. Sakura tried to fill the silence, her voice forced, brittle. Sasuke responded as he always did, cold, dismissive, but Naruto didn't react, not even a glance. It was that absence that unsettled them. Then Sasuke pushed, because that's what he did. Words meant to provoke, to assert dominance, to force a reaction. Nothing until Naruto's chakra shifted, just slightly, but it was enough. The air thickened. Heavy, sharp, not overwhelming, not explosive, but controlled, intentional. Sasuke froze. Sakura's breath hitched, because this wasn't wild, this wasn't accidental, this was deliberate, and that made it worse. Naruto didn't even look at them as the pressure faded, but they had already felt it, and they would not forget it, the breaking point. When Kakashi Hadake arrived, he immediately sensed the shift, not in the environment, in Naruto, a subtle difference. But Kakashi was not a man who ignored subtlety. His visible eye lingered on the blonde longer than usual. Questions formed, but Naruto spoke first, not loudly, not angrily, but with something colder, detached. Kakashi tested him, a small pulse of killing intent, measured. Naruto didn't flinch, didn't even acknowledge it. That was new. Forms were handed out, words exchanged, but nothing felt normal. Naruto signed without hesitation, no complaints, no excitement, just movement, and then he left like none of it mattered, a village full of echoes. The streets of Konohagakure felt wrong. Naruto walked through them with no destination, because the pull had returned, stronger, sharper, incomplete. That was the only word that made sense, like something was missing or waiting. Sakura caught up to him, demanded answers. Naruto gave none because he didn't have any, only silence, only distance, and that hurt her more than anger ever could. Collision. The moment shattered with chaos, children, noise, movement, a brief distraction, until Naruto felt it again, stronger than ever. He turned, and there, three figures: Kankuro, Temari, and him. Gaara. The air changed. Naruto's breath slowed, because the failing was no longer distant, it was right in front of him. Gaara stared, unblinking, unnerving, not with hostility, not with curiosity, but with recognition. Sasuke stepped forward, spoke, asserted, ignored, because Gaara wasn't looking at him. He was looking at Naruto. What are you? The question wasn't hostile, it was searching. Naruto hesitated, for the first time. He didn't feel alone. Uzumaki Naruto. Gaara's gaze sharpened. Not your name. A pause. Your truth. Something in Naruto's chest tightened, because somehow this stranger already knew. I carry something. Gaara's lips curved, not into a smile, something darker. So do I. The air between them grew heavier, not as enemies, but as mirrors. Then we'll understand each other. Gaara turned, leaving, but not before one final glance, and in that glance, a promise, not of friendship, not of rivalry, but of something inevitable. Final scene. The gathering begins. The next morning, the academy stood waiting, shinobi from every village, every corner, every hidden place, all gathered, all unaware that this was not just an exam, it was convergence. Naruto stepped forward, alone, but not alone, because inside him something was watching, and far beyond the physical world. The storm in the mindscape began to tear itself apart, as that unknown presence finally started to take shape. Cliffhanger end. As the Chunin exams begin, Naruto and Gaara recognize each other as something beyond human, while in the mindscape, the unknown entity begins manifesting, threatening even the tailed beasts themselves. Chapter 2. The academy loomed like a silent witness, cold, unforgiving. The sky above Konohagakure was pale, drained of warmth, as if even the sun refused to fully rise on what was about to unfold. Shinobi gathered in clusters below, voices low, eyes sharp, ambitions burning beneath controlled expressions. Some laughed, some boasted, some hid their fear behind arrogance, and then there was Naruto Uzumaki. He didn't blend in, he didn't try to. Each step he took toward the academy doors echoed heavier than it should have, like the ground itself recognized him or feared him. Behind him, Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno followed, not beside him, never beside him. They kept their distance, not out of pride, but instinct, because something about Naruto had changed, and neither of them could name it, inside the academy. The air shifted the moment they stepped in. Naruto stopped mid-step. His eyes narrowed slightly. There it was again, that distortion, that subtle wrongness, not visible, not obvious, but present, like the world had been layered incorrectly. Genjutsu, the realization came instantly, not with surprise, but with irritation. Naruto didn't expose it, didn't react outwardly. Instead, he smirked faintly and kept walking. Up the stairs, past the illusion, because revealing it would only make things easier for others, and he was done making things easier. Behind him, voices rose. Sasuke had stopped. Of course he had. Naruto's jaw tightened. He turned back just in time to see Sasuke stepping forward, confidence radiating, ego intact. Words were spoken, assertions made, and the illusion broke too early. Naruto moved, fast, before either of them could react. He grabbed them, the impact against the wall echoed. Hard, sudden, both Sasuke and Sakura froze, because what stared down at them was not the Naruto they knew. You had a chance. His voice was low, controlled, dangerous, to remove competition. A pause and you wasted it. Sasuke's pride flared, but only for a second. Because beneath Naruto's gaze, something primal whispered caution. Sakura couldn't even speak. Naruto released them without another word and walked away, leaving behind silence and something heavier than anger, interruption. Hey. Naruto stopped again. Annoyance flickered across his expression as he turned. Three figures approached, Neji Hyuga, Tent, and Rock Lee. Naruto's gaze settled on Neji, unimpressed. What? The response wasn't respectful, wasn't polite, it was dismissive. Neji's eyes hardened. You. A single step forward, state your name. Naruto exhaled sharply, almost amused. How ironic. He tilted his head slightly, a Hyuga asking without offering. And then he turned his back. That was the mistake. Neji's hand shot forward, gripping, demanding. You will. It never finished because Naruto moved faster, a twist, a shift, and then crack. The sound wasn't loud, but it was final. Neji's expression broke just for a moment, pain, sharp, unexpected. Naruto didn't look at him, didn't acknowledge him, he simply let go, and walked like it meant nothing, behind him. Tenten stood frozen, Lei's eyes widened, and Neji burned not from pain but from humiliation, the challenger. Naruto had barely crossed the lobby when another voice cut through the air. Loud, determined, unshaken, stop. Naruto closed his eyes briefly, irritation rising. He turned, and there he was, Rock Lee, standing above, watching him, calling him out. Naruto's gaze sharpened. What now? Lee didn't hesitate, didn't waver. He dropped down. Landing with precision, his stance shifted instantly. Focused, disciplined. I want to test you. Naruto stared at him for a moment, then a faint smirk, then don't waste time. The clash. Lee moved first, explosive, direct, his fist cut through the air with speed that would overwhelm most genin. Naruto didn't block, he stepped aside, barely, and struck. A sharp blow to the joint, precise, efficient. Lee faltered just for a second, that was enough. Naruto followed, a kick, controlled impact. Lee staggered, pain flashing across his face. But he didn't stop, he adapted, shifted, pushed forward again. Naruto met him, movement for movement, strike for strike, not wild. Not desperate, calculated, every motion carried intent. Lee's breathing grew heavier, not from exhaustion, but realization. This isn't normal. Naruto wasn't fighting like a genin, he was dismantling, breaking patterns, rewriting the flow. And then Lee escalated, bandages unraveled, whipping through the air, a dangerous technique. Naruto's eyes narrowed. But before it could connect, steel flashed, the movement stopped, interrupted, both turned, and there, unexpected, uninvited, a summon, and atop it, Might Guy, his presence exploded into the space like a force of nature. Lee. The roar shattered the tension. Lee froze instantly. Naruto didn't move, didn't react, he simply watched, because something about this moment felt incomplete, unfinished, and deep within him That same presence stirred again, watching, waiting. Cliffhanger end. As Naruto dominates Rock Lee in a brutal exchange, Might Guy interrupts, but something far more dangerous continues to awaken inside Naruto, reacting to every battle he fights. The tension didn't break, it twisted. The impact came fast, too fast for most to follow. Rock Lee was already airborne before anyone fully processed the strike. A sharp blow, clean, brutal. His body hit the far wall with a dull crack, sliding down slowly as dust settled around him. For a moment. Silence then. Movement a blur of green, Might Guy reached him instantly, dropping to his side with exaggerated urgency. Lay. His voice trembled not with weakness but with overwhelming emotion. You are caught between youth and maturity, a fragile state. Lay's lips quivered, tears welled. Guy sends. And then, they embraced dramatically, painfully, absurdly. A strange, almost unreal atmosphere seemed to ripple outward, like the world itself had momentarily lost its seriousness. Naruto stared, blank, Sasuke's eye twitched, Sakura's face stiffened as if her mind was trying and failing to process what she was witnessing, for a split second. It felt like reality itself had cracked. Naruto slowly turned his head away. This is worse than anything I've seen. And that thought alone disturbed him more than it should have. The moment dragged, then snapped. Guy stood, energy surging again. Well, you must be Kakashi's students. His eyes scanned them, evaluating, judging. Naruto didn't respond, didn't care, but something in his expression shifted. Subtle, sharp annoyance. A voice cut in, low, gruff, a turtle. Naruto blinked once, slowly, of course. The creature spoke, demanded, pressed. Naruto's patience ended. Stay out of my way. The words weren't loud, but they carried weight. The turtle stiffened, and then came killing intent, not from Naruto, from behind. Cold, precise, deadly. The air froze. Everyone turned. A figure stood at the edge of the room, still, silent. Yagura. His presence didn't explode. It suffocated. Petals, dark, unnatural, seemed to drift around him as he stepped forward. Each movement controlled, measured. The turtle backed away instantly, because instinct screamed, danger. Yagura's gaze didn't linger on anyone else. Only Naruto. He stopped in front of him. Close, how are you, brother? The word echoed, heavy. Naruto's brow furrowed, confusion, curiosity, something deeper, and then, understanding, you too. Yagura inclined his head slightly, acknowledgement, three tails. A pause and you. Naruto exhaled slowly, 9. Around them. Shock spread like wildfire, not just rumors, not whispers, truth, two vessels, standing side by side. Lee stared, stunned, Sasuke's fists clenched. Sakura felt something cold crawl up her spine. Yagura glanced toward the clock. Time, always moving, will speak again. A faint pause, preferably in battle. And then he was gone, leaving behind a silence far heavier than before. The threshold. Naruto turned, his team followed, reluctantly, uneasily, as they approached the exam room. The air shifted again, a presence appeared, Kakashi Hadake. Watching, measuring, his gaze lingered on Naruto, longer than usual. Questions formed, but none were asked because something told him. The answers wouldn't be simple, inside the arena of candidates. The doors opened and chaos greeted them. Dozens of genin, voices overlapping, egos clashing, tension building. Naruto stepped in, and immediately he felt them, two presences, familiar he looked, Gaara and Yagura, both watching, both aware. A silent acknowledgement passed between them, not friendship, recognition. Hey. The mood shattered, Ino Yamanaka approached, dragging her team into the moment. Normal conversation, normal reactions, but Naruto barely engaged because beneath it all, that pull was still there, growing, the observer. A new presence approached, calm, measured. Too calm, Kabuto Yakushi. His smile didn't reach his eyes. He spoke softly, politely, but every word felt calculated. Information was offered, cards revealed, names, ranks, histories, Gaara, Lei, and then Naruto. The room shifted, eyes turned, because what was revealed didn't match expectations. Power beyond rank, missions beyond level, an anomaly. Naruto didn't react outwardly, but inside. Something stirred, not pride, not satisfaction, something darker. Kabuto continued, more data, more numbers, villages, teams, enemies. The room absorbed it, but Naruto had already stopped listening, because something else had begun. The first strike. Movement fast, hostile, three figures lunged, Dasukinuda and his team, intent clear. Attack, Naruto turned, no hesitation, no fear. Only instinct. His body shifted, stance lowered, the world narrowed, and then Impact, a clash of forces exploded across the room. Steel met resistance, bone met pressure, air split with sound, but something was wrong because Naruto hadn't moved yet, and yet. The attack had already been stopped, 3 different directions, 3 different intercepts, someone else had stepped in. Naruto's eyes widened slightly, because the presence he felt was not one but many, and all of them. Familiar cliffhanger end. As the sound ninja launch a sudden attack, they are intercepted instantly by unseen forces, revealing that Naruto is no longer the only one being drawn into something far bigger than the Chunin exams. The clash didn't resolve, it revealed. The 3 attackers froze mid-strike. Not by force alone, but by interception so precise it felt preordained. Naruto's eyes lifted, slowly. 3 figures stood between him and the attack, a towering man clad in heavy armor, steam hissing faintly from the mechanism strapped across his back, his grip locked around one attacker's arm like iron. Beside him, another stood calm and composed, a blade resting just beneath a throat that dared not move, and behind the final attacker, a young woman, still precise. A scalpel hovered at skin that dared not breathe too deeply. The room fell into silence. Think before you act. The armored man's voice boomed, not loud but absolute. You never know who stands behind your target. The second added, his tone far colder. Then the girl spoke, her eyes didn't leave Naruto. Isn't that right, brother? The word landed heavier than any strike. The entire room stiffened. Brother, whispers began immediately. Confusion, suspicion, shock. Kiba and Yuzuka voiced what everyone else was thinking. Brother, since when does he have family? Naruto didn't react instantly. He simply watched them, measured them, then a faint smirk. Family doesn't always mean blood. His gaze flicked briefly toward Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno. They understood, or at least they felt it, that same unnatural connection. Naruto turned back. I'll see you in the exams. The 3 released their targets simultaneously, effortless, controlled, of course, brother. And just like that, they were gone, but the room didn't recover, because something had shifted. Not just around Naruto, but around all of them, several others. Faintly, subtly, began releasing the same presence, different sources, same origin, and no one understood why. The first trial begins. The doors slammed open. A massive figure entered, Ibiki Morino. His presence crushed the remaining noise instantly. Sit. No one argued. Minutes later, desks, papers, silence. The test began. Naruto stared at the sheet in front of him. Lines of questions, complex, unnecessarily so, not designed to be solved, designed to break. His jaw tightened. This isn't a test of knowledge. It was a test of something else. He could feel it, around him. Movement, subtle, hidden. Some were already writing, too quickly, too confidently. Plants. Naruto exhaled slowly, then a whisper. Not Naruto-kun. He turned. Hinata Hyuga. Her eyes trembled, her hands too. She offered help, quietly, gently. Naruto looked at her, really looked, and for a moment, something inside him softened. Then he shook his head, no words, just refusal. Hinata lowered her gaze, hurt but understanding. Naruto turned back to the paper, still blank, until something moved, a small insect, barely noticeable, but Naruto saw it because it wasn't normal. It carried something, a presence, the same presence. It traced across the desk, scratching lightly, forming words, a message. Naruto's eyes narrowed. Brother. Recognition, Fu. He didn't smile, not outwardly, but something inside him shifted. The answers appeared, one by one. Naruto followed, not blindly, but carefully. Because trust didn't come easily, even now, when he finished. He leaned back, waiting, watching, around the room. Others fell one by one, caught, removed, until only a fraction remained, and among them, every single one connected. The final question. Ibiki stood, his presence grew heavier. This is where most of you fail. Silence followed. A choice was presented, not simple, not fair. Risk everything or walk away. The room cracked, fear surfaced, doubt followed. Some left, not many, but enough. Naruto watched, and then a voice, Yudakata, calm, unbothered. Another followed, Yujito ne, then another, Fu, and another, Amaru. Each one spoke, not loudly, but with certainty. And then all eyes turned to Naruto. He stood slowly. The room seemed to shrink around him. If we hesitate. His voice was low, steady. We were never meant to be shinobi. A pause. If death is the cost. His gaze hardened, then we pay it. Silence heavy, absolute, Ibiki smiled, then you pass. Relief exploded, cheers, noise, movement, but Naruto didn't celebrate because something else had just begun. The second proctor. The window shattered, chaos returned. Enko Mitarashi entered like a storm, wild, unpredictable, dangerous. She announced the next stage, forest, survival, elimination. Naruto watched her, and something inside him reacted, not curiosity, not interest, hatred, sharp, unexplained. He didn't understand it, but he didn't ignore it either. The mark. As the room emptied, Naruto felt it again, a small movement, another insect, this time closer. It touched his skin and carved, not painfully, but deliberately, a message. Midnight, Northern Gate. Naruto didn't react, but across the room. Others did, subtle nods, acknowledgement, agreement. Midnight, the gathering. The village slept, but the gate did not. Naruto arrived first, or so he thought. Shadows shifted. Figures emerged, one by one, 10 in total, all different, all the same. Each carried it, that presence, that weight, that truth. Introductions followed, names, beasts, identities revealed without hesitation. Not enemies, not allies, something else, something older. And finally, Gaara stepped forward. His eyes met Naruto's, not with madness, not with bloodlust, but with something far more dangerous. Understanding. Silence fell again. All eyes turned to Naruto, waiting. Expecting, demanding, because whether he wanted it or not. He stood at the center of it all, cliffhanger end. As all 10 Jinchuriki gather in secret, they instinctively look to Naruto, realizing he may be the key to whatever is awakening within them and beyond them. The silence didn't break, it deepened. 10 figures stood beneath the pale glow of the midnight sky, the northern gate looming behind them like a boundary between worlds. No guards, no witnesses, only them. An expectation. All eyes remained on Naruto Uzumaki. He exhaled slowly, not out of fear, not out of hesitation, but to steady something rising inside him. Then he stepped forward, not as the outcast, not as the failure, but as something else entirely. I am Uzumaki Naruto. His voice carried firm, unshaken. And I carry the 9 tails. No denial, no shame, only truth for a moment. No one spoke then. One by one. Hands extended, not in challenge, not in hostility, in unity. Naruto hesitated just briefly, then he stepped in, their hands met, 10 points of contact, 10 sources of power, and then chakra surged, not wild, not uncontrolled, but drawn together, a convergence. Naruto felt it immediately, the pull, the same pull that had haunted him for days. Now complete, and then the world fell away, elsewhere a silent witness. Hinata Hyuga stood hidden in shadow, her breath trembled, her heart raced. She had followed him, quietly, carefully, and now she wished she hadn't, because what she saw didn't make sense. Names, confessions, truths no one should speak so openly. And Naruto standing there, declaring it not as a burden but as identity. Her vision blurred, confusion, fear, pain. She turned, ran, because she didn't understand, and that terrified her more than anything else. The descent. Darkness didn't consume them, it accepted them. Naruto felt weightless, not falling, not flying, drifting around him. The others remained calm, no panic, no resistance, because something within them already knew. This is where we belong. The descent slowed, then stopped the mindscape of beasts. They landed as one. The ground beneath them wasn't solid, it shifted, breathed, the sky above. Endless, dark, alive, and before them they appeared, massive, ancient, unbound, the tailed beasts, each one towering over their host, each one watching. Not as prisoners, but as kings. Naruto stood still, and for the first time he saw it clearly. Kurama, not just a presence, not just a voice behind bars, but a being massive, terrifying, and aware. So the fox's voice rolled through the space. We finally speak properly. Naruto didn't flinch, didn't step back. Instead, he smiled. Yeah. A pause. Took you long enough. For a moment. Nothing then. A low rumble, laughter, not kind, not cruel, but real. The other beasts shifted, watching, listening, because something had changed. The barrier between host and beast was thinner now. Kurama's gaze hardened. This isn't coincidence. His voice carried weight, authority. Something is forcing this convergence. Naruto's expression sharpened. Then tell us what. What? The fox's tails moved slowly behind him. Not yet. A pause, but I will tell you this. The air grew heavier, this exam. His eyes burned is not just an exam. Around them, the other beasts stirred agreement. Each of you must reach the final stage. The statement wasn't a suggestion, it was absolute. If even one of you fails. The ground beneath them trembled, then everything collapses. Naruto's fists clenched, everything what? Silence then. A low chuckle, you are not ready for that answer. Frustration sparked, but before Naruto could press further. Another voice cut in, soft, curious. Fu stepped forward slightly, then what are we preparing for? The question lingered, heavy. Kurama's gaze shifted, not just to her, but to all of them. And for the first time, something flickered in his eyes, not arrogance, not certainty, concern. What comes next? His voice lowered, will not leave all of you unchanged. The sky above cracked, not violently, but slowly, as if something beyond this space was pushing through. The beasts reacted subtly, tension, awareness, fear, and then Kurama spoke again, among you. A pause, something is forming. Naruto's breath slowed because deep inside. He felt it too, not as a voice, not as a presence, but as pressure, waiting, watching. By the end of this, Kurama's gaze sharpened, one of you. The sky split further, will become something else entirely. The words didn't echo, they sank deep, irreversible, and then the mindscape trembled violently, not from them, but from something beyond them. That same unknown presence was pushing closer, closer than before, and this time, it wasn't just watching, cliffhanger end. As the tailed beasts warn of a transformation that will change one of the Jinchuriki forever, the mysterious entity begins breaching the mindscape itself, bringing an unknown terror directly toward them. Chapter 3. Something is wrong, deeply wrong. 10 Jinchuriki connected by something they don't understand. The tailed beasts no longer silent, and now an unknown entity is breaking into their very minds. But the most terrifying part, one of them will become something asterisk else, not stronger, not better, but something that could change the entire world forever. So the question is, who will it be? And when that moment comes, will Naruto save them or become the beginning of the end? The sky was breaking, not above them, but within. The mindscape trembled like a living organism under strain. Cracks of violet lightning split the endless darkness, illuminating the massive forms of the tailed beasts as their shadows stretched unnaturally across the shifting ground. The air felt wrong, heavier than before, watching, and in the center of it all. Silence. 10 Jinchuriki stood frozen, the words still echoed. One of you will become something else entirely. No one spoke at first because no one understood how to. Then everything shattered at once. What? The voice broke through the silence violently. Utakata stepped forward, composure completely gone. Are you serious? His voice cracked, not with fear alone, but disbelief. Beside him, Yagura stared, his usual calm replaced with something dangerously unstable. Naruto didn't move, didn't breathe. His mind refused to process it. The others reacted in fragments. Gaara stood rigid, sand trembling unnaturally around his feet. Yujido's eyes widened, her control slipping for the first time. Han and Roshi leaned slightly toward each other, instinctively grounding themselves. Fu muttered incoherent fragments, her thoughts unable to form. Amaru dropped the scalpel she hadn't even realized she was still holding. Killer Bee opened his mouth, then stopped for once. Words failed him, and Naruto tried to speak, but nothing came out because deep inside, something reacted, not fear. Recognition. A low rumble spread through the mindscape, not from the storm, from the beasts. Kurama watched them all and smiled, not kindly, not cruelly, but knowingly. Did I stutter? The words hit harder than the truth itself. The reactions only seemed to amuse him further. Yes. His tails swayed slowly behind him. One of you will ascend. The sky cracked again, but not without consequence. That word lingered because they all felt it, whatever this ascension was. It wasn't a gift. Naruto moved, slowly, deliberately. Kyuuba. His voice steadied. Why does it matter? The question cut through everything. The beasts shifted, some in irritation, some in disbelief. One surged forward. The massive turtle Isabu let out a furious snarl. How dare you question? Flames struck the ground, silencing him instantly. Matatabi's tails burned quietly between them. Enough. Her voice was calm but absolute. They do not know. A pause and ignorance is not disrespect. Isabu recoiled slightly, then lowered his head. I spoke out of turn. Naruto blinked, then smiled faintly. It's fine. No anger, no pride, just acceptance, but his eyes remained locked on Kurama. I still want to understand. The beasts went still again, because that was new, a human. Asking to understand them, not control them, not fear them. Understand, Kurama studied him carefully, then exhaled. Very well. The ground beneath them shifted, seats formed, not real, not imagined, something in between. The Jinchuriki and their beasts settled, because what came next was older than any of them. Kurama lowered himself slightly. The system you stand before. His voice deepened, was not always as you see it now. The sky darkened further. Images began to flicker faintly across the horizon. War, flames, falling empires. There was a time. His tales moved slowly, when power was not controlled. The images grew clearer, massive entities clashing, entire lands erased in moments. Demons ruled without order. A pause, and the world paid the price. Naruto watched, not with fear but focus, this chaos. Kurama continued, forced the creation of hierarchy. The images shifted again, a single figure, vast, unreachable, a system of 12. The beasts around him stirred. Because this was their origin, 11 rulers. And one above all. Naruto's breath slowed because he already knew what came next, the highest. Kurama's voice dropped, was not simply a ruler. The sky cracked violently, it was control itself. Silence fell again, heavy, unavoidable, the 10 tails. The name didn't echo, it consumed. Naruto felt it in his bones, not as a story, as something real, something waiting. Kurama's eyes burned brighter, for thousands of years. His voice hardened, that title was no longer earned. The images twisted, corruption, inheritance, decay, it became something else. A pause, a crown passed down. The beasts shifted uneasily, because even they did not like that truth. Naruto leaned forward slightly, and now. What? Kurama's gaze snapped to him, sharp, now. The storm above them roared, it will be claimed again. The mindscape trembled violently, not from memory, but from presence, that same unknown force. Was closer, watching, listening, and for the first time. Reacting, cliffhanger end. As Kurama reveals the ancient truth behind the 10 tails and its corrupted legacy, the mysterious entity draws even closer, responding to their knowledge as if it has been waiting for this moment. The sky did not heal, it listened. The fractures above the mindscape pulsed faintly like something beyond them had leaned closer, drawn by the truth being spoken. No one said it out loud, but they all felt it. We are not alone here. Kurama remained still for a moment, watching the cracks. Listening to something none of them could hear. Then he spoke again. This is where everything changed. The darkness shifted, not violently, but deliberately. Visions formed, not memories, not illusions, records. We were not always what you see before you. The beasts behind him stirred, each one carrying fragments of something older than war. There was a time. His voice lowered when we chose our own path. The sky lit up, massive armies clashed, creatures beyond human comprehension tore across continents. Entire lands burned beneath forces that had no equal. Naruto watched, focused, silent. Kurama continued. We ended the corruption of inheritance. The images sharpened. Beasts rising against their own kind, kingdoms collapsing, a throne shattered. We trained for centuries. A pause alongside one who would lead us. The vision shifted again, a figure tall, unyielding, not the strongest, but something else. Chosen, we tore down the old order. The ground trembled beneath their feet, and for a time, silence, there was peace. No one interrupted, because the weight of it all pressed too heavily. Then the tone changed, the sky darkened again, and then something twisted, violence returned, but this time it was different, personal. The image burned itself into their minds. A battlefield that never had a chance to become one. A mother defenseless, a child unborn in something monstrous. Naruto's fists clenched, because even without context, he understood. Kurama's voice dropped. She was our leader. What? The space trembled, the one who held us together. A pause and she was taken. Not defeated, not challenged, taken. The fury that followed was suffocating, killing intent exploded outward. Raw, uncontrolled, Naruto felt it slam into him. His body reacted instinctively. But he didn't fall, not this time. The others weren't as steady. Several staggered, some nearly collapsed. The beasts themselves shifted uneasily, because this was not a story, this was grief. Kurama's claws dug into the ground beneath him. How? His voice cracked. How could one of our own? The rage faltered. Do something like that. Silence answered him because there was no answer, not one that mattered anymore. The killing intent faded slowly, replaced by something heavier. Loss. Kurama exhaled. Forgive that. No one responded because none of them dared. Naruto stepped forward slightly, not boldly but carefully, and after that. Kurama looked at him longer this time, then nodded. After that. The world shifted again. No one was strong enough to replace her. The sky above flickered violently. The throne remained empty. A pause in that. His gaze sharpened was the real danger. Naruto's breath slowed because now. It made sense, not fully but enough. A system without a peak. Kurama continued, will collapse. The beasts behind him remained silent because they had lived it, so we adapted. Naruto's eyes narrowed. How? Kurama's tails moved slowly, by turning to you. The words landed harder than expected. Humans. The others reacted. Subtly confusion, suspicion, but Naruto didn't move. He listened. You are fragile. Blunt but adaptable. A pause, you grow. The mindscape trembled again, faster than anything we've ever seen. Naruto exhaled slowly, so you chose us. Kurama nodded, we allowed ourselves to be sealed. The others stiffened because that truth was not something they had expected. It was never imprisonment. Silence, it was selection. The weight of that statement crushed the air. Naruto's mind raced. Then his voice tightened. This whole time Kurama finished it for him. You were candidates. The sky cracked again, this time louder, closer, and now Kurama's voice dropped to something almost wary. The time has come to decide. What? The presence beyond the cracks pulsed, reacting, listening, hungry. Only one of you. A pause will reach the top. Naruto felt it again, that pressure, that pull, stronger now, like something was choosing or waiting, returned to reality. The world snapped back, cold air, real ground, midnight fading. Naruto stood at the gate again, the others around him. Silent, no one spoke because nothing needed to be said. They all knew. This was no longer just an exam, it was a selection. The forest of death. Morning came too quickly. The forest stood before them, dark, dense, unforgiving. Anko Mitarashi grinned like a predator. This is where things get fun. Naruto barely heard her because something else caught his attention. Killer Bee watching her, the same way Naruto was. With irritation, with something darker, unexplained, Naruto frowned slightly. Why her? The thought lingered but didn't resolve. Instructions were given, scrolls distributed, threats implied. Naruto didn't care until a presence wrong behind him, fast, a blade. Naruto reacted instantly, intercepting, stopping, but when he turned, his body froze, not from fear, from instinct, because something about that person triggered everything inside him. Rage, pure, uncontrolled. Even Kurama stirred violently. Kill him. The urge wasn't his, but it felt like it was. Naruto clenched his jaw, forced it down, barely. The moment passed, barely, but it left something behind, a mark at the gates. Naruto regrouped with his team. They stood apart, whispering, watching him. Like he was something dangerous, something unstable, and maybe. They weren't wrong. Naruto didn't confront them, didn't care, because something far more important was already in motion. Cliffhanger end. As Naruto enters the forest of death, a mysterious enemy triggers a violent reaction from both him and Kurama, hinting at a hidden connection far more dangerous than anything revealed so far. The forest didn't breathe, it watched. The signal had already been given, the gates had opened, and the moment that invisible line was crossed, everything changed. No. The word was quiet, cold. Sasuke Uchiha didn't look back, didn't hesitate. He moved, straight into the forest. Sakura Haruno followed instantly, fear tightening her chest as she chased after the two figures already disappearing into the trees. and above them. Unseen, something smiled. A figure lingered at the edge of the forest, still, watching Orochimaru. His eyes followed Sasuke like a predator tracking its chosen prey. Soon, the forest swallowed him whole, deep within the forest. Branches blurred, wind cut across skin. Naruto Uzumaki moved ahead of his team, fast, focused, but not calm. He felt it, that same presence, closer now, and behind him. He felt something else, fear, Sasuke's gaze. Naruto didn't turn, didn't acknowledge it, because if he did, he might actually feel something instead. He focused forward until he stopped abruptly, a hand signal. Both Sasuke and Sakura froze instantly, weapons drawn, eyes scanning. Naruto inhaled slowly, then again something was wrong, the scent. Familiar, rotten, ancient, he moved along the branch, carefully, following it step by step. Until his eyes widened, run. The word tore out of him, too late, the branch beneath them vanished. Replaced by jaws, massive, reptilian, they snapped shut where Naruto had stood. The impact alone shattered wood like paper. Naruto reacted instantly, grabbing both teammates. And leaping far, they landed hard on another branch, and finally, they saw it, a serpent massive, its body coiled around the forest itself like it owned it, scales like blades, eyes cold and aware, and worst of all, it smiled well. The voice was wrong, too human, too amused. What an interesting catch. Naruto's grip tightened around his weapon. You talk. The serpent's head tilted. I do far more than that. It lunged, Naruto moved, fast. A blade flew straight into its open mouth. The serpent recoiled. Hissing. Furious, Naruto didn't wait. He moved across its body, running along it. Positioning. Calculating. Another weapon. Thrown not normal, it split midair, segments expanding, unfolding, wrapping. The serpent's jaws snapped shut. Bound, Naruto yanked hard. The creature slammed into the tree with a violent crack. Naruto moved again. Binding, locking, trapping. For a second, it worked until another presence behind him. Naruto turned. Too late, another serpent, closer, faster, he barely dodged. The jaws crushed the branch he had stood on. Poison dripped, burning through wood like acid. Naruto reached into his pouch, a pill, unstable, untested. He didn't hesitate, he threw it, directly into the serpent's mouth. A moment, nothing, then. The creature convulsed, violently, its body twisted. Split, collapsed. Dead, Naruto exhaled. Relief barely forming. When, boom, the world exploded. A shockwave ripped through the forest. Naruto's body was launched. Spinning, crashing, everything blurred elsewhere. Sasuke and Sakura never saw it coming. One moment. Silence the next. Killing intent, absolute, crushing. They couldn't move, couldn't breathe, couldn't think. Orochimaru stepped forward, calm, enjoying it, so fragile. Sasuke struggled to move. He could. Sakura's vision blurred. This is it. Two blades lifted, ready to end everything. Then, clang, impact, the killing intent broke. Two figures stood between them. Roshi, hand, weapons locked, strength overwhelming. Orochimaru barely reacted. Before both struck hard, he was sent flying, crashing through trees. The two didn't hesitate. Move. Their voices carried no doubt. Now. Sasuke didn't argue, Sakura couldn't. They ran, leaving the battlefield behind, awakening power. Roshi and Han didn't hold back, their chakra surged, dark, heavy, tails formed behind them, not complete but enough. The air warped, Orochimaru rose, slowly, smiling, interesting. His face peeled away, revealing something far worse. I am. His voice deepened, beyond you. They attacked, he adapted. Effortlessly, and then he moved past them, targeting something else. Naruto's fall. Naruto hit the ground hard, mud, water, silence, he groaned. Trying to stand. Then, stopped because something was there, behind him, breathing, watching. He turned slowly and froze. It wasn't one creature, it was many, a mass of serpents. Forming a single entity, and it spoke. My master wants you dead. Naruto's body moved before his mind, dodging, attacking, surviving, but it wasn't enough. He was running out of options, running out of time. He closed his eyes. So this is it. Then, a scream, not his, the creature's. Naruto looked up. Something had attacked it, something worse. A mass from below, teeth, tendrils. It tore through the serpent like it was nothing. And then, Silent. The thing vanished, leaving only one person behind, Amaru, brother. Naruto didn't respond because he wasn't there anymore. Mindscape breaking point. Naruto stood before Kurama. The fox was enraged, furious. Let me out. The command wasn't a request. I will end this. Naruto hesitated. And that was enough. The chakra surged, violent, overwhelming. Naruto screamed. His body couldn't contain it. And then it broke, returned to the forest. Amaru watched, horrified. Naruto's body twisted. Challenged. Bones cracked, skin tore, tails formed. 1, 2, 3. More until what stood before her was no longer human, an incomplete beast. Raw, unstable, dangerous, it roared. And vanished into the forest. Final scene, the true enemy. Elsewhere, the battle had changed, the air burned. The ground cracked, a presence descended. Naruto, or what he had become, stood before Orochimaru. Recognition passed between them. Ancient, violent, you. The beast snarled. Orochimaru laughed. So you remember. And then he transformed fully, a monster, many heads, endless hunger. I took everything from you once. A pause, let's see if you can survive it again. The forest trembled because this wasn't a battle, it was history repeating itself. Cliffhanger end. Naruto loses control and transforms into a terrifying beast as Orochimaru reveals a shocking connection to the past, setting the stage for a catastrophic clash between two ancient enemies. Chapter 4. Everything just changed. Naruto is no longer in control. Kurama has taken over, and what we're seeing now isn't a Jinchuriki. It's something far more dangerous, and Orochimaru, he didn't just attack. He revealed a past, a connection that shouldn't even exist. This isn't just a fight anymore. This is history repeating itself. So now the real question is, can Naruto take back control, or has something inside him already chosen his fate? The forest no longer felt alive. It felt wounded. Smoke drifted between shattered trees. The earth was torn open in long, violent trenches, scars carved by something far beyond human conflict. Pools of water had turned murky, reflecting a sky that seemed too quiet after the storm that had passed. And yet, the silence wasn't peace, it was aftermath. Somewhere in the distance, branches cracked, bodies moved, survivors crawled out of what should have been their graves, because what had just happened was not a battle between genin, it was something older, something that had no place in the world of shinobi, and at the center of that destruction. Two monsters had clashed, one of them had been Naruto, the clash that shook the forest. It began again without warning, a crimson blur tore across the battlefield. Kurama manifested through Naruto's broken form, launched forward with unrestrained fury. Chakra blasts erupted from his jaws, ripping through the air in violent arcs, but his opponent did not fall. The massive serpent twisted unnaturally, weaving through the barrage like it had done this before, like it remembered. Then it struck. A massive head lunged forward. Naruto, no, the beast within him caught it, claws dug deep, and with a brutal motion tore. The sound was sickening. A scream followed. The serpent recoiled, one of its heads thrashing violently as another hissed in rage. You'll pay for that. The forest trembled again, but Kurama didn't stop. He moved like a force of nature, dodging, weaving, destroying. Then he grabbed hold of the creature's body and threw it. The impact carved a path through the forest itself, trees uprooted like grass as the massive serpent was sent crashing into a distant lake. The ground shook, and the watchers finally realized what they were witnessing, witnesses of a nightmare. Across the forest, teams stopped moving. Hinata Hyuga stood frozen, her vision piercing through the chaos. She saw it, the fox, the chakra, the truth, Naruto. Her voice broke because what she saw was not the boy she loved elsewhere. Sasuke Uchiha stared, his mind refusing to accept what his eyes confirmed, the creature before him. The power it held. That should be mine, even in fear. Envy was born beside him. Sakura Haruno could only tremble, because she had never seen Naruto as anything more than. And no, she couldn't see him at all, the shinobi who arrived too late. From deeper within the forest, elite shinobi arrived: Kakashi Hatake, Asumasaru Toba, Kurenai Yuhai, Might Guy, Yuga Yuzuki, Hate Gecko, and at their center, Anko Mitarashi, they came ready to fight, ready to kill. But when they saw the battlefield, they stopped because this was beyond them, even Anko. Frozen until the fox threw the serpent again, and for the first time, hope flickered in the collision of beasts. The lake exploded, water surged skyward as the serpent emerged again, its massive form coiling with renewed fury. It hissed, "You think this is enough?" Naruto's body trembled under the strain, too much power, too little control. Kurama pushed further. A massive sphere of red energy formed. Condensed, violent, the serpent responded. Purple energy gathered across all its heads, two forces, equal, opposite, and then they fired. The collision shattered the world. A shockwave tore through the forest, flattening everything in its path. Teams scattered, some too slow. Eliminated instantly, because this was no longer an exam, it was survival, the memory that refused to die. The serpent moved again, faster, a blade emerged. From its mouth, ancient, recognizable, and in that moment, everything changed. Naruto froze because something inside him remembered a field, a home, a scream, loss, rage. Kurama's hatred surged uncontrollably. You. The word trembled, "I remember you." The serpent laughed, "Good." A pause, "Then you remember what I took." Naruto's body shook violently, because the memory wasn't his, but it felt like it was, the strike that changed everything. The blade came down fast, deadly. Naruto reacted. Caught it barehanded, the impact sent shockwaves through his body, but he didn't let go because this was personal. A tail lashed out. The serpent screamed again as it was thrown once more, crashing through the forest toward another group of unlucky witnesses, and in its path, Hinata Hyuga pinned, trapped, unable to move. The serpent saw her and smiled, cliffhanger end. As the battle spirals out of control, the serpent targets Hinata, forcing Naruto to choose between revenge and saving the one person who still believes in him. The arena felt wrong. Too many survived, too many who shouldn't have. The echoes of the forest of death still clung to them, burned into their skin, their eyes, their silence. No one walked into the tower the same person they had been days ago, and at the center of it all, Anko Mitarashi stood watching, her arms folded, her expression unreadable. But inside, everything was chaos because she had seen him, and yet she said nothing at the front. Hiruzen Sarutobi stepped forward, old, wise, and for the first time uncertain. "You've all done well to survive." His voice carried across the room, but survival is not enough. A pause, the next stage begins now. The board behind him flickered to life, names spinning, fates aligning. If anyone wishes to withdraw. His eyes hardened slightly. "This is your last chance." Silence then. Movement, many stepped back, fear finally winning over pride, but not all. Naruto Uzumaki didn't move, neither did the others, the ones who felt it, the connection, the pull, the unseen thread tying them together. Match 1. The board stopped. Tsuchikin versus Amaru. A ripple went through the room. Amaru stepped forward calmly, while her opponent smiled like she had already won. Begin. It ended before it truly began. Senbon filled the air. Precise, deadly. Amaru moved once, her scalpel flashed, metal split, sound died, and in the next heartbeat, impact, Kin's body slammed into the wall. Unconscious, silence followed, because no one had seen the exact moment it ended. Hate exhaled softly. Winner, Amaru. She didn't celebrate, didn't smile, she simply walked back. Like it meant nothing. Match 2. The board spun again. Yujiro versus Tenten. Yujiro Ne stepped down with quiet confidence, across from her. Tenten prepared with visible pride, scrolls unfurled, weapons summoned. Steel filled the air. But Yujiro didn't rush. She cut every weapon, every strike, clean, effortless. Tenten pushed harder, more weapons, more speed, but it didn't matter. Yujiro grabbed control, turned her own momentum against her, and then crack, the sound echoed. Tenten collapsed, her leg giving out beneath her. Still, she tried one final weapon, a blade, old, beautiful, respected. Yujiro studied it, then destroyed it with a single strike. The blade shattered, and with it, something inside Tenten broke too. Victory isn't in the weapon. Yujiro's voice was cold. It's in the one who wields it. She walked away, leaving silence behind. The third match. The board slowed, stopped, and for a moment, the entire room held its breath. Inuzuka Kiba versus Uzumaki Naruto. A grin spread across Kiba and Yuzuka's face. Finally. Beside him, Akamaru barked excitedly. They jumped down together, confident, hungry, ready. Naruto followed, slow, silent, different. The arena felt it, that pressure, faint but present. Kiba noticed, and for just a second, his grin faltered. What's wrong with him? Naruto didn't look at him, didn't react. He simply stood there. Eyes distant because part of him was still in that forest, still hearing the screams, still feeling the rage, still remembering what he almost became. Hate raised his hand. The match between Uzumaki Naruto and Inuzuka Kiba. A pause began. Kiba moved first, fast, confident, exactly as expected, but Naruto didn't move, and that was the first mistake, because something inside him was still deciding whether this was a fight or something much worse. Cliffhanger end. As Naruto stands motionless in the arena, something dark stirs beneath his calm, leaving everyone to wonder if he's still fighting Kiba or struggling against himself. Chapter 5. The arena held its breath, not because of the fight, but because of him. Naruto Uzumaki stood still at the center of the arena, too still. The echoes of the forest had followed him, not in sound, but in memory. Flashes, blood, a roar that didn't belong to a human throat for a brief moment. His reflection in his own mind wasn't his, it had claws across from him. Kiba Inuzuka cracked his knuckles, confidence written all over his face. This'll be quick. Beside him, Akamaru growled in agreement. Stay back, I've got this. Naruto exhaled slowly, then a smirk. Big talk for someone who smells like dog food. The arena froze, then laughter. Even some of the Jonin couldn't suppress it. Kiba's expression snapped. You're dead. He moved instantly, fast, direct, his fist cut through the air. A clean strike. Naruto finally moved. Their fists collided, crack, both recoiled. Pain shot through their arms. Kiba gritted his teeth. That hurt. Naruto didn't react, that was the problem. Kiba rushed again. Strikes came fast, sharp, relentless. Some Naruto dodged, most he didn't. Blows landed, but Naruto didn't fall, didn't slow, didn't even flinch properly. That unnerved Kiba. Why isn't he reacting? Naruto countered. A strike to the ribs, a kick to the thigh, a sharp blow to the back. Kiba staggered, but recovered quickly. Blood touched his lips, his grin faded. Akamaru now. The small dog launched forward, faster than expected. Naruto barely had time to react before teeth sank into his arm. Damn it, get off. Naruto tried to shake him loose, but the bite only tightened, and that's when Kiba struck a clean punch to the face. Naruto's body slammed into the wall, cracks spread like spiderwebs behind him. Silence. Kiba turned slightly. It's over. But something shifted, a sound, a step. Kiba's instincts screamed. He turned. Too slow. Pain exploded in his side. He was sent crashing into the wall. Naruto was already moving, closing distance, relentless. Kiba dodged barely, but Naruto adapted instantly. A kunai cut off his escape, forcing him back. Right into range, Kiba grabbed Naruto's arm, slammed him into the wall again, then followed up. A brutal strike to the ribs. Naruto coughed. Blood this time, but his eyes sharpened, and then he moved faster, cleaner, a kick under the chin, followed by another to the chest. Kiba's body lifted, then crashed face first into the ground. He rolled, slid, then stopped, unmoving. Silence filled the arena. Hate Gecko stepped forward, checked, paused. Winner, Uzumaki Naruto. Shockwaves without sound. No one cheered because no one understood what they just saw. Kiba, one of the strongest in close combat, had been defeated by Naruto, the same Naruto they had dismissed, ignored. Kurenai Yuhai turned sharply toward Kakashi. Headache, what did you teach him? Kakashi didn't answer immediately, because he didn't know. Nothing. The word hung heavy, and for once, even Kurenai didn't have a response. A quiet moment. Naruto walked back up, not smiling, not celebrating, just walking. As he passed, a voice stopped him. Hinata Hyuga, Naruto-kun. He turned, she held something out, small, simple, ointment. Naruto blinked. What's this? She looked away slightly. It'll help. Naruto hesitated, then took it, applied it. The burning sensation faded quickly. His wounds began closing. He looked at her. Surprised, thanks, Hinata. A pause, you'd be good at medical stuff. Hinata froze, then looked down. Blushing but smiling because that was enough. The next mat. The board spun again, then stopped. Hinata Hyuga versus Neji Hyuga. The atmosphere changed instantly. Neji Hyuga stepped down first. Calm, cold, Hinata followed, nervous but standing. They faced each other. Family but not equals. Begin. Nothing happened at first, then. Neji spoke, this is pointless. Hinata flinched, you cannot win. His voice carried no emotion. Withdraw. The words cut deeper than any strike. Hinata's hands trembled, but she didn't move. I want to change. Neji scoffed, people don't change. A pause, you are weak, you will remain weak. The arena felt colder, then. Shut you, P. The voice didn't come from one person, it came from many. Naruto and the others, the Jinchuriki, each one stepping forward in spirit, if not in body. Encouraging, demanding for her to stand. Hinata's trembling stopped, not completely. But enough, and then. She moved, cliffhanger end. As Hinata chooses to stand and fight against Neji's crushing words, something shifts within her, hinting that this battle may not end the way fate intended. The arena had barely settled. The echoes of Hinata's defiance still lingered in the air, like a challenge thrown not just at Neji, but at the world itself. And yet. The exams did not care, they never did. The board flickered again, names blurred, fates shuffled, and then. The next battle ignited, Han versus Tsurugi Misumi. Steam swallowed the battlefield, not gentle mist, but suffocating heat. Han burst out from the haze, his armored frame cutting through the fog like a war machine. Behind him, an explosion chased his path. Misumi adapted quickly, his body twisted unnaturally as he launched himself forward. Limbs stretching, bones bending, a human weapon spiraling toward its target, but Han didn't flinch. His hands moved, seals formed, the furnace on his back screamed, a violent surge of pressure. And then, a blast of superheated vapor erupted forward. Misumi's scream tore through the arena, his body lost shape, his technique collapsed, and then. Impact, Han's strike landed, heavy, final, the arena fell silent as Misumi crumpled. Han didn't celebrate, didn't posture, didn't speak, get him help. That was all, and somehow. That was more terrifying than anything else. Roshi versus Temari. The battlefield shifted again, wind met fire, Roshi stood calm, still. Temari was anything but, her fan snapped open. And the air screamed, blades of wind tore forward. Violent enough to shred stone, Roshi didn't move until the last second. His hands struck the ground, the earth answered, molten fury rose. A wall of burning red swallowing the wind hole, Temari's confidence cracked, and then. It broke because the wall moved, turned, and became a wave, a tsunami of fire. She barely escaped, but not untouched. Her weapon burned, her footing faltered, and death. Closed in, stop. The word cut through everything, sand intercepted, glass formed, a barrier born from desperation. And something deeper, Gaara stood between destruction and survival, not as a weapon, but as a protector. She is my sister. What? The arena didn't understand what had just happened, but it felt it. Something was changing, something dangerous. Karabi versus Kankuro. The board turned, Killer Bee grinned. Kankuro didn't. I forfeit. Silence, shock, and then. Frustration exploded, but beneath it. Fear, because some instinct screamed louder than pride, and Kankuro listened. Gaara versus Rock Lee. Hope entered the arena. Rock Lee burned with it, pure, unyielding. He moved first, speed. Precision. Power. Everything he had, and it meant nothing, because the sand moved on its own, blocked, caught, crushed. Lee fought again, but Gaara never moved, not once, until Lee's body could no longer rise, and the ground claimed him. Victory was declared, but it didn't feel like one. It felt like something had been broken. Fu versus Sakura. Then, chaos returned. Fu rushed in. All energy, all excitement, one strike, that was all it took. Sakura Haruno collapsed instantly. Silence, that's it. Even Fu didn't understand it. Victory. Without a fight and somehow. That felt worse, Yagura versus Dasu. Water answered next. Yagura didn't rush, didn't react, he simply prepared. A dome of water formed, perfect, unbreakable. Dasu Kinuda attacked anyway, sound cut through air. But not through control. The attack rebounded and his body paid the price. One strike later. It was over. The arena fell quiet again, but not because the fights were done, because something else was coming. The final match decision. The board flickered, glitched, paused. Something unseen interfering, and when it resumed, the tension became suffocating. Every victor watched, every breath slowed, because this would decide the next clash. The names slowed, slower, slower, until they stopped and the world shifted. Uzumaki Naruto. Uchiha Sasuke. The air snapped, eyes turned, and for a single moment, time froze, because this wasn't just a match. This was inevitable. Two paths, two monsters, two futures. On a collision course, Naruto didn't smile, didn't react. He just stared at the board, because deep inside, something answered. Not excitement, not fear, but something far darker and far older. Cliffhanger end. As Naruto and Sasuke are chosen to face each other, the arena realizes this isn't just a match. It's the beginning of a clash that could awaken something far more dangerous than either of them. Chapter 6. What if I told you this was never just an exam? One by one, the strongest fell, not because they were weak, but because something far more terrifying was rising beneath the surface. The Jinchuriki are changing, the rules are breaking, and now it's finally happening. Naruto versus Sasuke, not teammates, not rivals, but something much darker, because this fight might not just decide a winner. It might decide who survives what's coming next. So tell me, when power loses control, who do you think will fall first, Naruto or Sasuke? The arena had changed. It wasn't just stone and dust anymore. It felt like a battlefield waiting for something inevitable. A quiet storm. Two figures stood at the edge of it. Naruto, Uzumaki. And Sasuke. No words, just a glance, and in that single moment, everything was understood. No restraint, no hesitation, no mercy. They moved, step for step, descending into the arena together. Each footfall echoed like distant thunder before a storm breaks. Above them, eyes watched, friends, rivals, monsters, all silent, because something about this fight felt wrong, not unnatural, but too natural, as if it had always been meant to happen. The two reached the center, stopped, turned, and the air itself shifted. Inside Naruto, darkness flickered, not outside. Inside, a voice stirred. You finally face him. Naruto didn't flinch, I know. A pause, then. Something rare, be careful. Naruto blinked. That tone. It wasn't rage, it wasn't hunger, it was something else, something almost human. Why? The answer came slower this time, because he's not alone anymore. Naruto's eyes narrowed. What do you mean? A low growl echoed. That mark on him, it's alive. A beat, it feeds, it twists, and if you push him too far. The voice darkened. You won't be fighting your rival anymore. Naruto exhaled slowly, then smirked. Good. Silence, you're serious. I've waited too long for this. A warning followed, sharp, don't rely on me. Naruto frowned. What? If you go too far, I won't be able to stop what happens next. What? That was different. That wasn't power, that was a limit, and for the first time, Naruto understood. This fight wasn't just against Sasuke, it was against himself, inside Sasuke. The world cracked, not physically. Mentally, a pull, a distortion, and suddenly, silence. The arena was gone. In its place, ruins, familiar, burned, broken, the Uchiha compound. Sasuke stood still, breathing shallow. So you finally noticed me. The voice wasn't external, it came from everywhere and nowhere. Sasuke turned and saw him, a reflection, twisted, wrong, eyes darker, smile sharper. You want power. Sasuke's fists clenched. I don't need you. The thing laughed. Then why are you here? Silence. The air burned. You're afraid. A step closer, of him. Sasuke's eyes flared. No. What? Another step, of losing. A pause, of not being enough. That hit, and it knew it. I can fix that. The offer lingered, heavy, tempting. Sasuke turned away. If I need you. A pause, I'll take it. The creature smiled wider. Of course you will. And just like that, the illusion shattered, reality returns. The arena snapped back into focus. Both stood ready, both changed, neither fully aware of how much the proctor hesitated, because even he could feel it. This wasn't normal, but rules were rules. His hand rose. The match between Uzumaki Naruto and Uchiha Sasuke. A breath begin. Nothing happened at first, just silence, just tension. Then Sasuke moved, fire erupted from his lungs. A blazing wave of destruction. Naruto didn't retreat, wind answered. Violent, explosive, the two forces collided. And the arena shook, the blast reversed. Flames turning back toward their source, Sasuke vanished. Dodging at the last possible moment, steel flashed, projectiles cut the air. Naruto moved differently now, sharper, cleaner, clones formed. Not chaotic. Precise, calculated, they didn't rush blindly, they hunted, explosions followed, traps layered within traps. Sasuke adapted. Barely, because every move Naruto made felt practiced, refined, earned. A strike, a counter, a kick, a reversal. The rhythm escalated, faster, more brutal, more real, until impact. Sasuke hit the wall, hard dust rose, silence followed. Naruto stood still, watching, waiting, because he knew this wasn't over, not even close. And deep inside, something stirred again, not anger, not rage, but something far worse, something hungry. Cliffhanger end. As Naruto gains the upper hand with terrifying precision, something deep within both him and Sasuke begins to awaken, threatening to turn their fight into something far beyond control. The dust hadn't settled, it never would, not anymore. Naruto Uzumaki staggered. Breathing ragged, blood bitter on his tongue. For a second, it looked like the fight was over. For a second, he turned away, and that was the moment everything broke. A presence, cold, twisting, wrong. Naruto froze, then slowly turned back. Sasuke Uchiha was rising, but not like before. Dark chakra spiraled around him. Violent, unstable, like a storm with no sky. His head lifted. And the look in his eyes wasn't human. Naruto didn't even get time to think. Sasuke vanished and reappeared. Right in front of him, impact. Naruto's body slammed into the ground, the air left his lungs. Pain exploded through his ribs, and before he could recover, a foot came down, aimed to end it. Naruto's hand shot up, caught it, barely. Their eyes met. Why won't you just? Sasuke's voice fractured. Like something else was speaking through him. Naruto didn't answer. He moved, twisting, striking. A kick landed. Sasuke's head snapped sideways. But he didn't fall, didn't even flinch. In the stands, everything felt wrong, even the air was heavy. Kakashi Hadake moved. Instinct screaming to stop this, but he didn't get far. Two hands stopped him. One iron, one immovable. Hand, kill RB. Don't. Kakashi struggled. This isn't a match anymore. He's losing control. Hands' grip tightened, so are they both. Something was wrong. Kakashi tried to force chakra, but it slipped, drained, like the very air was eating it. Steam curled behind hand. Thicker now, darker, a silent suppression. Back to the arena. Naruto pushed himself up, but something inside him snapped. His head lifted, and his eyes were no longer blue. They burned red, slitted, and then he roared, not like a human, not like a shinobi, but like something ancient. Something furious. The arena shook. Killing intent flooded everything. Crushing, suffocating. Even the strongest felt it, even the fearless. Hesitated. Naruto moved, faster, sharper, more brutal. Claws tore through the air, forcing Sasuke back, each strike heavier than the last, each movement less controlled, more instinct, more beast. Sasuke blocked, but every impact sent shock through his body. Pain, real pain. He tried to form signs. Too slow. Naruto's strike slammed into his ribs, air gone, vision fading, darkness creeping in. Is this it? A single thought lose to him, something inside him refused. His eyes snapped open and changed. The world sharpened, every movement clearer, every detail visible. Naruto's next strike came, and Sasuke moved perfectly. A counter, a kick. Naruto's head snapped back, blood scattered, the tide shifted. Again, but something was wrong. Sasuke's breathing faltered. The power inside him wasn't his, and it hurt. Every second. It burned deeper, but it didn't stop. It wouldn't stop. Inside Naruto. Pain everywhere. His body refused to move. Get up, nothing. Kyuubi. Silence then. A voice, you're broken. Naruto clenched his teeth. Fix it. A pause, and this will hurt. Naruto smirked weakly. When doesn't it? And then, everything flooded, power too much, too fast. His body screamed, bones cracked, skin burned, but he rose, not as a boy, not as a shinobi, but as something else. Transformation. A red cloak erupted around him. Chakra. Thick, violent, a tail formed, then ears, then claws, the shape of something. Far older, far more dangerous, across from him. Sasuke broke too, his skin shifted, darkened, marked, his body twisted. Wings tore free from his back, not feathers. Not flesh, something unnatural, something wrong. The arena went silent because this was no longer a match. This was evolution. This was corruption. This was something they were never meant to see. They faced each other, not as teammates, not as rivals, but as monsters. Naruto dropped low. Like a predator ready to tear, Sasuke steadied. Like something preparing to descend, and for a single moment, everything stopped. No sound, no breath, no movement, just two beings. On the edge of losing themselves completely. Cliffhanger end. As Naruto and Sasuke fully transform into something inhuman, their fight is no longer about victory, but about who will lose themselves first to the darkness consuming them. The silence didn't last, it never could. A snarl tore through the arena. Primal. Unrestrained, Naruto Uzumaki lunged forward. Claws extended. Fangs bared. A beast unleashed above him. Sasuke Uchiha answered. A screech ripped through the air as his wings beat once. Twice, and he shot downward like a predator from the sky. They collided. The impact cracked the ground beneath them. Naruto slashed. Wild, savage, Sasuke countered. Precise, brutal, a kick drove into Naruto's stomach. But Naruto didn't stop. His claws tore across Sasuke's chest, drawing blood, leaving marks that refused to fully heal. Sasuke retreated. Just for a second, then surged forward, grabbing Naruto by the throat, and slammed him into the ground. The earth fractured. Naruto struggled, snarling, then struck upward. A slash closed too close. Sasuke twisted, barely saving his eye. But blood trailed from cheek to chin. Naruto's chakra surged. Exploded. Sasuke was launched skyward, crashing into the ceiling. Naruto followed, rearing back, ready to finish it. But a scream, high-pitched, piercing, it shattered everything. Naruto clutched his ears. Falling, vision fracturing. And Sasuke didn't hesitate. He dove, grabbed Naruto mid-fall, then rose again. Higher, higher, and let go. Hand signs flashed. Fire erupted. A dragon of flames roared toward the ground. Naruto looked up and answered with a roar of his own. Red chakra surged, colliding with the inferno. The explosion swallowed them both. Walls cracked. The arena shook. Then, silence. Two bodies fell, one from above, one from below. Neither moved. For a moment, it was over, I declare. The proctor never finished because the world shifted again. Chakra, darker, heavier, more dangerous than before. They rose, both of them, barely standing. But still standing, and this time, they didn't hesitate, arms extended, chakra gathered, not controlled. Not refined, but condensed, pure destruction. The air trembled, even the strongest stepped back because they understood. If those attacks collided, nothing would survive, not them, not the arena, not even what remained of their bodies. Naruto's arm burned. Skin tearing, melting. I don't have time. Sasuke coughed, dark blood spilling. This power is killing me. They moved forward, closer, closer. Now, and then, everything stopped, hands intercepted. Force met force, and held, hands stood between them, gripping both attacks. Armor screaming under the pressure, around them. The others moved. Yujito Ni restrained Sasuke. Yagura held Naruto back, Killer Bee locked Naruto's arm, Roshi forced Sasuke down, Utakata pinned him from behind, Fu did the same to Naruto, and finally, Gaara sealed the moment. Sand and casing both. Stopping everything, the energy collapsed, faded, disappeared, and with it. So did their transformations. Naruto fell. Sasuke followed, both unconscious, alive. Barely aftermath. Confusion spread, questions, fear, doubt, but the answer came simple. They are ours. The words cut through everything. Family. No one argued because no one understood. The next day. Pain greeted him first, then awareness. Naruto opened his eyes, only to find himself restrained, bound like a threat. He scoffed. Of course, a voice answered. They're afraid. Naruto sighed. When are they not? Silence then. Something colder they should be. Naruto didn't respond. He just got up and walked out, elsewhere. Anger filled the room. Voices clashed. Demands were made. Eliminate him. Control him. Use him. But one voice cut through all of it. No. Final absolute, because the truth was simple. They couldn't touch him, not anymore. Later. Naruto stepped into the light and met his next reality, your opponent. A pause with Neji. The name hit like a blade, his fists clenched, blood dripped. Good. Because this time, he wouldn't hold back. But what came next broke something else. No training, no guidance, just abandonment. Again, Naruto didn't argue, didn't beg, didn't care. I'll do it myself. And he meant it, the summons. The village called, not kindly, not warmly, but urgently. Naruto entered the tower. Prepared, ready, danger on instinct. Clones formed, weapons drawn. Then they vanished because what he saw didn't make sense. The Hawkage. Unconscious Anbu. Watching a girl. Silent and in the center. A man, golden hair, calm eyes, familiar. In a way that hurt, Naruto froze because he knew that face. Everyone did. Minato Namikaze. The fourth Hawkage, the hero, the man. Naruto hated, and then he spoke. Hey, Naruto. A pause, my son. What? Cliffhanger end. As Naruto comes face to face with the fourth Hawkage, who claims to be his father, everything he believed about his past begins to shatter. Chapter. The room felt wrong, too still, too quiet, like reality itself had paused. Holding its breath at the center, Hiruzen Sarutobi sat slumped in his chair, unconscious, on the desk. An ANBU operative watched silently, beside her. A red-haired girl sat with her legs crossed, calm, unbothered, and standing in the middle of it all. Minato Namikaze. Alive for a second. Naruto didn't move, didn't think, didn't breathe. His clones vanished, and all that remained was him staring, because that face, that voice, that presence, it was the man who ruined his life. And then, hey Naruto. A smile, casual, careless, my son. What? The world shattered, Naruto's lips parted. But no words came out, his mind refused to process it. Son. The word felt foreign, wrong. Minato chuckled lightly. As if nothing had happened, as if everything was normal. You've done well, he said, scratching the back of his head. Chunin exams already, not bad. Even your mother and I didn't manage that. Mother, the word hadn't even settled. When the ANBU removed her mask, long red hair spilled down, a warm smile followed. Kushina Uzumaki. Look at you, she said softly, walking closer. You really do look like him. Her hand reached out and ruffled his hair, a gesture so simple, so ordinary. It felt like a blade. She stepped back beside Minato, still smiling, as if nothing was wrong, as if nothing had ever been wrong. And then, hey, Otatu. Naruto's eyes shifted, the girl, red hair, bright eyes, grinning at him like she had known him forever. How are you? What? Silence answered her, not the calm kind, the suffocating kind. Naruto's hands trembled. Barely where? His voice cracked. Were you? They didn't notice, didn't see the pain behind his eyes. Minato smiled. Oh, we were training your sister. Kushina nodded happily. She has to be strong for her future, after all. Naruto blinked once, twice. What is going on? His voice was quieter now, dangerously quiet. I thought I was an orphan. He sank into a chair, like his body had forgotten how to stand. And you're alive. Minato leaned casually against the desk. Yes, it was all part of the plan. The word hit harder than anything else. Plan. Naruto's fingers tightened. Knuckles turning white. What plan? Minato's expression didn't change. Since you're involved, I suppose you deserve to know. Behind him, Hiruzen's eyes slowly opened. He couldn't move, but he could hear, and what he heard made his blood run cold. The story they told. They spoke of their past, of struggle, of survival, of how they rose from nothing. To legends of how they fell in love, of how they planned a future. Naruto listened, silent still until. Twins. The word froze him. Minato continued. Unaware, we decided the first child would inherit our legacy. A pause. And the second. A smile would inherit something greater. Naruto's breathing slowed, too slow. We chose to seal the nine tails into you. Break. Something inside Naruto cracked, not loudly, not violently, just irreversibly behind him. Hiruzen trembled. They chose power over their child. Kushina continued. As if she was telling a bedtime story. We couldn't risk raising you while training your sister. So we left you here. We thought you'd manage. Naruto's head lowered, shadow covered his face. So, you abandoned me. Minato waved it off. It was necessary. Necessary, the word echoed over and over, and to secure your future. Kushina smiled. We arranged your marriage. Naruto's breath stopped. With your sister. What? Silent. Not a single sound remained, not from the room, not from Naruto, nothing, until. A tear hit the floor, then another, then. Laughter low, broken, wrong. Naruto's shoulders shook, his nails dug into his palms. Drawing blood, and then. He stood slowly, deliberately, his head rose. And his eyes were no longer blue, crimson, burning. His voice trembled. Not with weakness. With rage. Have no family. Explosion. The world erupted, killing intent flooded the room. Crushing. Overwhelming. Unforgiving. Glass shattered, walls cracked, air screamed. Minato, Kushina, and the girl. Thrown back outside. Shinobi froze. They felt it, that chakra, that hatred, and they ran because they knew. Something was very, very wrong. The truth of pain. Naruto stepped forward. Wrapped in crimson chakra, one tail formed, then another, then another. His voice broke through the chaos. Do you have any idea? Each word carried weight, what I lived through. Minato couldn't answer, couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Naruto grabbed his jacket and tore it open, scars, burns, cuts, layered over each other. Like history carved into flesh, I was beaten. A step forward, starved. Another, hunted. His voice rose. On the days I was supposed to be happy. Kushina's eyes widened. Horror flooding her face, the girl, Sora, began to cry. Minato trembled, because for the first time, he saw it, not a weapon, not a plan, but a child. He had destroyed. Cliffhanger end. Naruto's pain erupts into uncontrollable rage as his parents finally witness the horrifying consequences of their plan. The silence didn't last, it shattered. Minato's voice broke through the chaos, weak, disbelieving. Be but the nine tails chakra, it should have healed you. Naruto slowly lifted his head, and then. He laughed, not with humor, but with something far worse, a broken, hollow sound. You really don't know anything, do you? His crimson eyes locked onto Minato. Burning, your own shinobi found ways around that little problem. The room froze. Naruto raised his hand, dragging it across his chest, tracing a jagged scar that tore across his body. This. His voice trembled, but not with weakness. With medical chakra, they cut through my network piece by piece. A pause, they made sure it wouldn't heal. The shinobi, watching, began to pale. Naruto pointed to another scar. Lower, deeper, a kanoichi. His voice dropped and nailed me to a cross. Someone gagged, she lit the stake while it was still inside me. The air grew heavier, harder to breathe, then. Naruto turned his back, revealing it, carved, burned, frozen into flesh. 2 words, murderer, demon. The room broke. Several shinobi staggered. Some fell to their knees because suddenly, everything they believed was wrong. Demons don't scar, demons don't cry, demons don't suffer. But Naruto was crying and he was human. Oh, Kami. Someone whispered, "What have we done?" Naruto turned back and roared, "This is what you left me to." The killing intent exploded again. Crushing, suffocating, unforgiving. All because you abandoned me to die. Minato staggered, his world collapsing. I told them you were a hero. Naruto scoffed, cold, sharp, then maybe. A step forward, you should have stayed and made sure of it. Silence, you disgust me. Escape. The window shattered, Naruto was gone, a streak of crimson vanishing into the distance. And behind him, the others followed: Gaara, Yagura, Killer Bee, Yujidona, Roshi, and Yudakata, Fu, and Maru, a family that chose him. Aftermath, judgment. The room turned not toward Naruto, but toward Minato, the hero, the legend, now. Just a man. What kind of monster abandons his own child? You're worse than the demon you sealed. What? I'm ashamed I ever followed you. Each word. A blade. Minato didn't fight back, didn't defend himself, because for the first time, he had no excuse. Then, a fist, boom. Hiruzen Sarutobi struck him. Hard, you pathetic excuse for a human. Another hit. How dare you? The third, Hawkage, was furious, not as a leader, but as a man who had watched a child suffer. Kushina tried to intervene. Stop. She was kicked back. Hard, she looked up. Yugao Yuzuki stood over her, eyes filled with hate. You don't get to speak. Her voice shook with rage. Do you know how many times he almost died? Kushina trembled, but still tried. If you had followed Minato's orders. Another kick, it shouldn't have mattered. Her voice broke. He was your son. Silence heavy. Final, then. Find him. The order came from everywhere, from everyone, because now they understood Naruto wasn't the monster. They were Forest of Death. Naruto landed. Hard, the cloak faded. His body gave out. He collapsed into the dirt. Why? His voice cracked. Why me? His fist slammed into the ground. Again, again, again. WHY. The final Ude-aya-ir shattered the earth beneath him. Blood dripped from his knuckles. Tears fell freely. Not hidden, not restrained, because the dam had broken. A different kind of family. From the shadows, someone stepped forward. Fu. She hesitated, then reached out. Naruto flinched. She stopped, tried again, slowly, carefully. She wrapped her arms around him. SHH. Her voice was soft. It's okay. We're here. Naruto froze. This was unfamiliar, comfort, warmth. He didn't understand it, but he didn't push her away, one by one. The others stepped forward, silent, understanding, and they joined. No words, just presence, just family, not by blood, but by pain, a way forward. After a while, Naruto's breathing steadied. It still hurts. Fu smiled gently. I know. Inside her, a voice echoed, take him away, let him breathe. She looked up. Determined, there's a place. The others turned, we train. All of us. Together they nodded, no hesitation, because for the first time, Naruto wouldn't be alone. Meanwhile, desperation. Across Konoha, they searched everywhere, but Naruto was gone, like smoke, like he never existed. And when they finally found the source of that last surge, they were too late. A golden light faded, a crater remained, nothing else. Final scene. Naruto opened his eyes, blue sky above him, peaceful, too peaceful, don't move. Fu's voice snapped him out of it. Naruto blinked, then looked down and froze. They weren't in the forest anymore, they were standing On a floating fragment of earth suspended in nothingness, a place untouched, a place hidden, a place where no one could reach them, cliffhanger end. Naruto leaves Konoha behind and steps into a mysterious new realm alongside the Jinchuriki, where his true transformation is about to begin. Naruto hadn't even taken a full breath. When the world beneath him broke, crack, his eyes snapped downward. The floating land, the very ground they stood on, was splitting apart. You've got to be kidding me. The fracture spread. Fast, too fast, the earth tore itself in half. And then, they fell to fall. Wind screamed past them, bodies scattered in different directions. No control, no balance, no ground, just free fall. Naruto's stomach dropped. Damn it. Below, a forest, a mountain, a desert stretching endlessly beyond, no safe landing, no second chance, just impact. Naruto twisted midair. Desperate searching. Anything. And then, a spire, a single jagged rock jutting from the mountain's side, his only chance. Naruto stretched his arm. Fingers trembling. Closer, closer. Grab, he caught it, his body jerked violently, nearly tearing his arm out of its socket. GHH. What? Below, chunks of earth slammed into the ground. Shattering into dust, Naruto swallowed. That was almost me. Relief lasted less than a second. Crack. The spire shifted. Naruto's eyes widened. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. The rock broke, his body swung violently. But instead of falling, he was thrown straight into the mountain, the descent. Darkness swallowed him, he hit stone. Then slid. Faster. A narrow tunnel. Wet, slippery, like a chute dragging him deeper into the earth. Ah. Then, splash, cold water engulfed him. Naruto thrashed. Pushed upward. Burst through the surface. Gasping ha. He coughed, then gagged. What the hell is this water? He spat violently, face twisting in disgust. It tastes worse than garbage. Slowly, he swam to a nearby ledge. Dragging himself out, water dripped from his body, his chest still heaving, still shaking, still alive. The cave. Silence surrounded him, heavy, oppressive. Naruto stood. Unsteady. Looking around, dark stone, narrow tunnels, no clear path. Great. He exhaled, lost again. With no other option. He walked step by step. Through the cave, listening, watching, until his foot caught something. He slipped. Shit. Tumbling forward. Rolling down another narrow slope. And then, thud, he hit the ground face first. Pain flared, but something else caught his attention. Light. Naruto blinked. Light. There shouldn't be any, not this deep. He slowly looked up, expecting an opening, a crack, a way out. Instead, he saw something else, the crystal. At the center of the chamber, a massive crystal, crimson, glowing, pulsing, alive, dark vines wrapped around it, feeding it like veins pumping blood into a heart. The entire room breathed with it. Naruto stepped forward, drawn in, mesmerized, but it wasn't the crystal that froze him, it was what was inside her. A girl suspended within the crimson light, still, silent. Her long black hair floated around her like shadows, her armor ancient from another era, her presence terrifying, familiar. Naruto's breath hitched. No way. His mind raced, flipping through memories, through legends, through forbidden stories, and then it clicked, the crest, the markings, the aura. There was no mistake. Uchiha. His voice dropped, almost a whisper. Aura. The name echoed in the chamber, the forgotten name, the feared name, the legend buried beneath time itself, the sister of Madara Uchiha. Naruto took a slow step back, heart pounding, because legends were never supposed to be real, and yet she was right there, waiting, sealed, or sleeping. Cliffhanger end. Naruto discovers a forgotten Uchiha sealed within a living crystal, hinting that the past he never knew is about to collide with his future. The cave didn't breathe. It watched every drop of water, every flicker of red light, every pulse from that crystal. Felt alive, and at the center of it, Naruto stood still, drawn in, because what he was looking at should not exist. Uchiha Ora. The name left his lips like a ghost, a legend, a myth, a warning buried in old scrolls, and yet she was right there, suspended in crimson light, unchanged, untouched by time. Naruto stepped closer, slowly, carefully. His eyes traced her form. The armor, the posture, and then the markings, blue tribal lines curved from her eyes, flowing down her cheeks like ancient war paint. Not shinobi, samurai. What are you? Naruto whispered. The crystal pulsed in response, low like a heartbeat. Naruto's gaze shifted. To the structure itself, it wasn't normal, it wasn't even natural. Energy flowed through it. Like veins, like a living chakra network, the entire thing felt alive. Naruto reached out, hesitated, then placed his hand against it. Contact. RMMMMMMM. The sound vibrated through the cave, through his bones. Naruto's eyes widened, and he jerked his hand back. The glow intensified, blinding, consuming. Naruto raised his arm, shielding his eyes. But even through the light, he saw it movement inside her eyes. Opening, shatter. BOOOOOOM. The crystal exploded, shards shot outward. Like deadly rain, Naruto braced, expecting pain, impact, death. But nothing. The shards passed through him like he wasn't even there. Naruto froze, watching, as the fragments buried themselves into the stone behind him. What? A chill ran down his spine, slowly. He looked forward. She stood where the crystal once stood. She now stood, Ora Uchiha, alive. Her long black hair swayed behind her, armor gleaming faintly in the dim light. Her chest rose. Slow, measured, her eyes blinked, adjusting to the world, to the light, to him, and then they locked. Naruto didn't move, couldn't, because in that moment he felt it, killing intent, ancient, refined, deadly. She dropped into a stance. Perfect, effortless, so. Her voice echoed, cold, controlled. My pathetic excuse of a brother finally sends someone to finish me. Naruto's eyes widened. Wait, no, that's not. Too late. Her hands blurred, seals formed in an instant. Katen, Uchiha Gakakyu no Jutsu. Flames roared to life. A massive fireball launched straight at him. Naruto jumped, barely dodging. The explosion sent steam flooding the chamber. Haunted. The cave filled with white mist, visibility gone, silence gone. Her voice cut through it. Come out, assassin. Each step echoed, fight me like a shinobi. Naruto didn't argue. He ran, back the way he came. Heart pounding, mind racing. She's insane. Almost there. Almost out. I found you. Naruto's head snapped back. She was behind him, too fast, too precise. Her eyes spun. Katen, no. No hand signs, different. Suten, Suryuden no Jutsu. The steam condensed, forming a roaring water dragon, and it struck hard. Naruto's body slammed into the wall. GI type. Pain exploded through him. He collapsed, coughing blood, trying, failing to stand. A shadow fell over him. Then pressure, her foot pinned him down. Naruto looked up and froze. Her eyes had changed the pattern, spinning, evolving. This is the end. Her voice dropped. Deadly assassin. Her right eye focused. Naruto's breath hitched. Amaterasu. He knew this. Black flames, unstoppable, unending. I'm dead. She spoke. Amaterasu. Wrong. The chakra surged. But something was wrong. Instead of black flames, white water exploded outward, a violent surge. Uncontrolled, the cave erupted, both of them. Blown out, shot into the open. Like a geyser surface, they crashed onto soft earth. Outside, under open sky, Naruto rolled, then forced himself up. Taking a stance, Aura stood still, staring at the water. What is this? Confusion, frustration, where are the flames? Then, she looked at him and paused. For the first time, her expression shifted. Naruto stood, bare chest exposed, water dripping, muscles tense, and beneath it all, scars countless layered, brutal. Her eyes widened. Just slightly, then. She moved fast, her fist struck. Naruto blocked again. Blocked again. Blocked, he countered. A punch to her chest. She kicked his chin, both flew back. Landing. Sliding, breathing heavy, but neither stopped. Aura's expression hardened, her left eye spun. Like a vortex, I'm done playing. Her voice turned cold. Now you suffer. Her gaze locked onto his, Tsukayomi. Naruto's eyes widened. Oh shit. Cliffhanger end. Naruto is trapped in Tsukuyomi as the ancient Uchiha unleashes a nightmare meant to break his mind. Darkness didn't fall, it consumed. 1 second. Naruto stood beneath the open sky, the next. Everything twisted, warped, and she was alone. Where the hell am I? Ora Uchiha spun in place, her voice echoing through an endless, suffocating space. Water dripped, cold, filthy, a sewer, endless tunnels stretched in every direction. Twisting like veins in a dying body, this isn't genjutsu. Her eyes narrowed, no, this is something deeper. She stepped forward, each footfall rippled through shallow, murky water, and then she saw it, a door, old, rusting, and carved into it. Memories. Aura paused, so this is your mind. A slow smirk formed, let's see what you're hiding. She pushed the door open, inside the mind. Shelves, hundreds, no. Thousands, each lined with glass vials, each one labeled dates, moments. Fragments of a life, but at the center. A pedestal, alone, elevated, important. Aura's gaze locked onto it. So this one matters. She stepped closer, read the name, Mamachi Haku. Her smirk deepened. A precious memory, how convenient. She reached for it. Stop. Naruto's voice shattered the silence. He rushed forward. Desperate. But too late. Aura grabbed the vial and kicked him away. His body slammed into the ground. You're too slow. She turned toward a stone basin carved into the floor. So this is how it works. She uncorked the vial. Naruto's voice broke. Raw, no, please don't. Too late. The liquid poured and the world shattered. The memory. Light swallowed everything. Aura stood, watching, feeling, living it, a snowy field, 2 figures. Naruto. And a boy, gentle, kind, Haku. Hands touching, words unspoken, a bond. Pure, real. Aura's expression shifted. Just slightly, so this is what you cherish. Then, everything changed, lightning, a scream, and a hand bursting through Haku's chest. Silence. Aura's eyes widened, not from the death, but from Naruto. He was screaming, not physically, but his soul was tearing apart. Return. Aura's eyes snapped open. The illusion broke. Reality slammed back. The mountain, the sky, the wind, and Naruto on his knees, trembling. How dare you? The words came out broken, shaking. How dare you? Red chakra began to leak, slowly, then violently. Aura felt it and dropped to one knee. What is this? Naruto's head snapped up, eyes glowing, crimson. How dare you show me that? The ground cracked beneath him. How dare you play with my emotions? He moved faster than before, wild, uncontrolled. His claws tore into the earth. Missing her by inches, Aura leapt back. Heart racing, this isn't human. She turned and ran up the cliff face. Naruto followed, 3 tails formed behind him, burning everything they touched. Aura's eye spun. Died demon. Kamui. Space twisted. But instead of destruction, a portal opened and something came through. Collision. A blur, a girl, and a bicycle. Naruto didn't even react. Before crash, the front wheel slammed into his face and he dropped instantly, unconscious. The girl blinked. Where am I? She looked down at Naruto beneath her, tilting her head. Curious. Mocha Akashi. Then she smelled it, blood, sweet, irresistible. Her eyes softened, and she leaned down, biting into his neck. Instinct. Naruto stirred pain. Then something else. What the? He jolted awake, only to freeze because she was right there, close, too close. He stared, blushing, brain shutting down, and then he fainted again. Aura stared, then at Naruto, then at Mocha, then back at Naruto. What is wrong with this world? New chaos. Time passed. Naruto lay unconscious. Aura sat nearby, watching him, studying him, these scars. Her fingers traced along his skin. Careful, what kind of life did you live? Before she could think further. Hello. Aura jumped. Mocha stood behind her, dragging a tree. Why are you like this? I'm Mocha. She smiled brightly. Naruto stirred, mumbling softly, Haku-chan, I love you. A tear slipped down his face. Mocha paused. Aura's expression darkened. So that's the weight you carry. Before anything else, a new presence arrived, heavy, rotten. Well now. Both girls turned. Figures emerged, massive, grotesque, stone ogres. We've got ourselves some pretty little things. Aura stepped forward. Mocha, stay back. They're ogres. The leader grinned. And you're ours. They charged. Aura moved. But before she could strike, Mocha stepped in and kicked. The ogre flew. Aura blinked. What? But more came. Too many. Mocha was hit. Thrown. Crashing near Naruto, Aura retreated. Landing beside them, the ogres closed in. Let's break the pink one first. Over my dead body. What? Naruto standing barely, two tails flared behind him. He grabbed one ogre and threw it off the cliff. Another crushed instantly. Then he collapsed, exhausted, broken. The last ogres approached, slow, confident. Naruto tried to move, failed, and fell, grabbing the cross around Mocha's neck. It snapped free. Transformation. Silence then. Power, dark, ancient, beautiful. Bats filled the sky, swirling, enticing, transforming. Mocha, her hair turned silver, eyes crimson. Aura froze. What are you? The ogres trembled. Too late. She moved. One kick, and the leader's head separated. The others gone in seconds. Silence returned. Mocha turned. Now calm, elegant, deadly. Don't worry. I won't hurt you. She knelt beside Naruto, watching him. You're interesting. What? Then she reattached the cross and softened again. Arrival. The ground shook. 9 figures landed. The Jinchuriki. They stared at Naruto, at Mocha, at the situation. The males jealous. The females annoyed. Aura sighed. Yeah. This is going to get complicated. Cliffhanger end. With new allies, unknown powers, and enemies lurking beyond this world, Naruto's path is about to become far more dangerous than ever before. Chapter -9. Before the storm could reach Naruto, before the truth of what he was becoming could fully take shape, Konoha itself began to crack, not from enemies, not from war, but from sins buried too deep for too long. Hospital of father's shame. The room was silent. Only the soft rhythm of machines and the fragile breath of Hinata Hyuga filled the air. Standing beside her bed was Hayashi Hyuga, still, unmoving, watching every rise of her chest. Every fall felt like a blade carving into his soul, to the world. He was cold, a tyrant, a father who never cared, but the truth was far more painful. He did care, he always had, and that was exactly why. He couldn't forgive himself, the truth he failed to see. Hinata looked like her mother, too much, every time he saw her. He remembered what he lost, but her eyes, those soft, trembling eyes, they were his, and that was what broke him. This is my fault. Not because he hurt her, but because he failed to protect her. Flashback, the moment everything shattered. The emergency room. A red light glowing above the door. Hayashi waited, arms crossed, impatient, detached at least. That's what he thought. What happened this time? The light turned off, the door opened, a doctor stepped out. Tears in her eyes. So, what has my firstborn encountered this visit? Smack, his head snapped sideways, silence for the first time. Hayashi Hyuga was struck and he didn't react, you bastard. The doctor grabbed his collar. Do you even know what's been done to your daughter? Hayashi frowned, explain. Her grip tightened, submission seal on her forehead. Static seals choking her chakra gates. A pain amplifier running down her spine. And a butchered bloodline seal at the base of her skull. Each word. A hammer, does that sound familiar? No, it did. And that terrified him. He was thrown to the ground. Go look at her. And see what you've done. The horror beneath the skin. Hayashi entered the room and froze, his daughter. Hooked to machines, barely alive, and marked seals, hidden, layered, cruel, Hyuga techniques. His eyes widened, only a handful in the clan knew Fuinjutsu, the elders, no. The realization hit hard for years. He punished her for weakness. That wasn't hers, they crippled her. And worse, they hid it from him, from everyone. Hayashi's fists trembled, not as a clan head. But as a father, present, judgment begins. The door slid open and Anbu stepped in. Hayashi-sama, we found those responsible. Silence, cold, deadly. Hayashi stood, guard my daughter. His voice was calm, too calm. I will deal with them personally. Beside him, Hanabi Hyuga looked up. Tusan, will Nichan be okay? He paused just for a moment. I don't know. And that truth was unbearable. Training grounds, a mind breaking. Wood shattered, dust rose, and at the center of it, Neji Hyuga striking, relentless, unhinged, each blow heavier than the last. I'll kill him. The whisper twisted, Naruto. Nearby, Tenten watched, uneasy, and my guy watched with disappointment. This is not youth. Neji didn't stop, didn't listen. I need more power. His breathing grew erratic. I won't just defeat him. A dark smile formed. I'll destroy him. A sensei's breaking point. Neji. Guy's voice cut through the air, firm, final. I will not train you to kill a comrade. Silent. Then tension, you refuse. Neji's voice dropped, dangerous. I refuse to help you become this. Guy turned, and until you change. I am no longer your sensei. Those words hit harder than any strike. Tenten stood, ready to leave. Wait. Neji's voice snapped, help me train. She hesitated, looked at him. And what she saw wasn't her teammate, no. She turned away, that was enough. Neji moved, fast, he grabbed her. Threw her down, know your place. You should be honored to assist me. Tenten pushed herself up, pain in her eyes. But not from the fall, you're not the same anymore. And she left without looking back, desperation. Alone, Neji struck the post again and again, until his body gave out, he collapsed, breathing heavily. Not enough. The curse mark pulsed, burning, whispering, I need more. I need power. And then, a voice cold, unnatural, I believe. I can help you with that. Neji's eyes snapped open, he turned. Ready to strike, who are you, show yourself. Laughter echoed, low, distorted, a shadow moved from the forest, slowly. A figure stepped into the light, humanoid but wrong, its presence. Foul, heavy, corrupt, and in that moment, Neji understood this wasn't help, this was a deal. End of Part 1, Chapter 9. Two paths had begun to form, Naruto. Fighting what he was becoming, Neji. Willing to become something worse, the forest fell silent, even the wind seemed to hesitate because something wrong had entered the world, a deal with darkness. The figure stepped forward. Its presence twisted the air itself. Call me Melchiah. Its voice echoed like rot spreading through stone, and if you wish to utterly destroy that infernal Jinchuriki. Its eyes lifted. Black voids split by sickly yellow slits, then listen carefully, Ninjin. Silence then. A smirk, Neji Hyuga straightened, cold, hungry, I'm listening. And just like that, a line was crossed, elsewhere a broken soul. Far from Konoha, under a sky slowly swallowed by darkness. Naruto Uzumaki sat alone. The fire crackled beside him, but it gave no warmth, only shadows. Haku-chan. His voice broke, soft, fragile, his body curled inward. As if trying to hold himself together, tears slipped silently. Unstoppable because no matter how strong he became, some wounds never healed. Those who watched around him. The Jinchuriki stood in silence, not as weapons, not as monsters, but as family. Yujido ne crossed her arms, eyes heavy. Fu looked away, biting her lip. Even Uchiha Ora felt it, guilt, sharp, unforgiving. She had forced him to relive it, to feel it again. I didn't know. And for once, she meant it beside her. Akashi Amoka watched quietly. He's alone. Not physically, but deeper than that, a dangerous idea. Yujido turned. Ora, how old was that memory? Ora narrowed her eyes. Recent. Months, not years. That was all Yujido needed. She looked at Fu, and in that glance, a plan was born. Fu. We're bringing her back. Silence then. Confusion. What? Fu stared at her. You're serious? Yujido didn't blink. She's within range. She can still be saved. Fu exhaled sharply. That's not how life works. But Yujido raised her hand and pointed to herself, to you, to us, to the monsters inside them. It does. A choice that shouldn't exist. Fu hesitated, and if she refuses? Yujido's voice softened, then we let him go. That was the real goal, not revival, closure. Fine. Fu stepped forward, hands forming seals, Yauki Bunshin. Light exploded, the ground itself tore free. And vanished with them, land of waves, the past lives on. The air shifted, the earth cracked, and they appeared. In a place Naruto once changed forever. Fu looked around. This is it. Beautiful, alive, nothing like the battlefield it once was. Yujido ne stepped forward. Let's find her. What? A hero remembered. But what they found wasn't a grave, it was something else. Children running, laughing, wearing orange. Did you come to see the hero? Fu blinked. Hero. Naruto Uzumaki saved us. The words echoed, bright, unshaken, then. More voices, girls, teenagers, excited. Do you know Naruto-sama? Is he strong? Is he single? Fu and Yujido froze. Fan club. Somewhere, Naruto would have fainted, the truth behind the smile. Then, a voice cut through, older, heavy, you know the kid. They turned, a man tired but sharp. Fu stepped forward. He's our brother. The man studied them, long, then turned. Come with me. A pain that never left. As they walked, he spoke. I haven't seen him since he saved my life. But even then, he was broken. Fu stayed silent because she knew. That was still true, the impossible proposal. Finally, they stopped. Yujido stepped forward. We want to bring someone back. The man froze. What? The girl he loved. Silence then. The bottle fell, shattering. You're insane. No one comes back from the dead. Unless a demon is involved. Yujido met his eyes. Exactly. The body is fresh. And I have the power. The truth hung heavy, impossible, and yet, standing before him, were living proof that impossible things existed, a risk for one boy. The man closed his eyes, thinking, struggling, then. He sighed, if it's for Naruto. His voice hardened, I'll take you to her. What? Because somewhere deep down, even he knew if this worked, it wouldn't just bring someone back, it might save Naruto. From himself, the question lingered, heavy, dangerous. Who was the girl Naruto loved? Fu stepped closer, she lined in, and whispered Mamachi Haku. Silence then. Shock, the man's eyes widened instantly. Recognition, pain, so it's her. He straightened slowly, resolve hardening in his voice. Then follow me. The path of the dead. Branches snapped beneath their feet as they moved. Yujido ne stayed silent, focused, while Fu glanced around uneasily. By the way, what's your name? The man chuckled lightly, a tired but proud smile forming. I'm Tezuna. the greatest bridge builder you'll ever meet. Even now, he carried his pride, but beneath it was something else. Hope. Konoha, a monster is born. Far away, pain echoed through the forest, a body collapsed. Shaking, Neji gasped as something tore free from his back, a shadow, a beast, then. Laughter low, rotten, Melchiah watched with amusement. So, how does my gift feel? Neji rose slowly, breathing heavy, then. He struck, boom. The training post exploded into splinters, not broken. Annihilated fragments pierced trees like spears, and Neji smiled, dark, twisted, perfect. His arm flickered. Fur claws then gone. With this, I will destroy him. Then the main house. His laughter echoed. No longer human, Melchiah turned away, satisfied. Just remember. Kill him before he kills you. And then he vanished, leaving behind a corrupted prodigy, shadows within Konoha. Elsewhere, in silence, another darkness stirred. Mitarashi Anna stood alone, documents scattered before her, ancient, forbidden, soon. Her voice shifted, not entirely her own. My lord. Her eyes slit. Snake-like, a monstrous aura flickered behind her. We rise. Then, pain sudden, violent, her body trembled. Damn human. Another voice fought within. Should have erased you completely. A cobra silhouette loomed behind her, hungry, waiting, but soon. This body won't matter. Because something far worse was coming. The broken family. Atop the Hawkage Tower. Silence reigned. Minato Namikaze sat motionless, broken, beside him. Kushina Uzumaki, lost and far away. Sora Namikaze watched the horizon, alone. Where did I go wrong? Minato's voice cracked. What did I do? To make my son hate me. No answer came because deep down, he already knew. Sora clenched her blade, eyes burning with resolve. I'll fix this. No matter what. Naruto. I swear it. The graves of the forgotten. Back in wave. The forest opened, and there, on a quiet ledge, they stood, two graves side by side, wind whispering through the trees, carrying memories, loss, and love. Mamachi Zabuza and Haku Yujiro Ne stepped forward. This is it. A voice echoed within her mind. Ancient, powerful, Nibai, focus. And let me handle the rest. She obeyed, hands pressed to the earth, chakra surged, golden, wild, Nibai no Bake Nico, revival. The ground trembled, cracked, split open, bodies rose. Broken, then restored, flesh, bone, life, but something else. Was watching, a presence unseen, a hand. Wrapped in prayer beads. Guided the souls back, and then. Gone, the dead return. Air rushed into lungs. That had once been still, eyes. Opened, Haku inhaled sharply. Mamachi Zabuza growled low, alive, again, the next day. High above, on a mountain edge, Naruto sat alone, Haku-chan. I wish you were here. The wind shifted, cold, unnatural, then. A voice soft, familiar, your wish. Naruto froze, is granted. Slowly, he turned, heart stopping, eyes widening, because standing before him. Impossible, unreal, were two figures, alive, breathing, watching him, Haku and Mamachi Zabuza.
That's all for now. If you enjoy this video, then please like, share and do comments.